Excuse me. So we are here. We are here. We are here. Friday has been I guess it's been an action-packed week for the most part in terms of things that have been going on with the Miami Hurricanes. Got a couple players that are participating in some postseason bowl games that's going to help the draft stock. So hopefully all those guys are able to, represent for the guys. Scarborough, what you say? Eight Central Pacific time, not Eastern. Oh, I don't know. I just put it at 7. So South Coast. All right. So anyway, tonight, Cuban. Cuban, you got to be here because we gotta. I didn't have this in the itinerary, but yeah, we have to, re kind of recap your back and forth with one of the more famous Miami handlers. I guess I'm giving him his proper title. So yeah, we gotta do a little recap on it. But anyway, man, on the show today, I want to kind of be a little bit more organized. Not saying that we haven't been organized, but it's kind of we kind of just bring subjects up, kind of as they come to the top of our head. But today, I want to talk about some certain subjects. I want to see how kind of everybody feels about it, right? So at the top of the list is Cam Kitchens, the best safety that has played at the University of Miami this past decade, right? So thoughts on that. Recruiting, right? So according to Rivals, well, according to On Three, we have Rivals and On Three. According to Rivals and On Three, we have three of our defensive linemen are 5-star players, right? So what exactly does that mean, right? Because last year I know some people felt a certain way about On Three, about the Jaden Wayne situation, so we'll talk about that. And then also, I don't know if everyone has watched my two videos that I did about Cam Ward, kind of going a little bit deeper into that, as well as Xavier Restrepo, right? So, kind of want to rehash and talk about that. And then after we kind of knock those out, if we have a little bit more time left, we can kind of divulge into some different, some different topics, whatever the situation is. But that's what we got. Got Q McCain in the back. I don't know what he's gonna. I don't know what he's gonna do when he comes in. So we'll just hope for the best.
I'm here. I'll let you get your intro out. And then
I'm
I
I'm
want to
I'm
join here. I want to join here. So because I have a very interesting question to ask both of you. So once joined, I'll ask my mighty question.
okay. Okay. Well, we'll see. Can we kill a little time before he gets here?
So you want to ask
So
me about that stupid troll on
I
Twitter?
mean, I mean, I can't call him a troll. He's one of the more famous Miami handlers, right? So I think we have to give him the proper respect that he deserves.
Oh, he's not a handler. He's just, he didn't hustle the correct way. If you're gonna put your lottery ticket on one person, you better hit, and people's got to get used to it. It's like, all right, I didn't hit, so now I got to go kiss some ass.
I didn't think the conversation was gonna go that direction.
Well, you know me, I don't particularly care.
No, but I'm gonna be honest with you, Cuban. When I tagged you in that, I was thinking that you were going to explain to me what did he mean by the atmosphere or the culture. Just it feels different. I, what? Because it was a defensive coordinator in place. I mean, what exactly? But
Well, I mean, because you read it that way, right? And I read it. Oh, he's trying to get in good with Mario,
oh yeah,
right?
yeah,
Huh? Yeah,
yeah. I
he
missed.
was. Yeah, he was trying to get good in with Mario, and so he could be back in the building and recruit his kids and pimp one of his kids to get recruited. I saw that from a mile away. I'm like, come on. When you sent it to me, I was like, this is so obvious what he's trying to do. I was like, I'm gonna call your line ass out.
But I didn't catch that. But anyway, like I said, Q, we could divulge that a little bit later. But like I said, until Jordan gets here, I'm gonna ask you: do you feel Jaquan Johnson is the best safety Miami has had here in the past decade?
Jaquan Johnson.
Not Jaquan, I meant Cam Kitchens.
No, it's Jaquan. I mean, it's Jaquan. There was somebody before Jaquan. Who was before Jaquan?
We had Jenkins and Bush.
Jenkins was pretty good, but I would have to say Jaquan Johnson.
Yeah.
He because he kind of resembled the most Ed Reed I've ever seen. It's like you couldn't throw it his way, you couldn't run it his way. He was just all over the field, and he was very effective. And the thing I liked about Jaquan, if you've seen him from his freshman year to the time that he left, he grew. He was a major impact. And I was like, huh, this is a pretty, and it's just you felt it when he left the team. Him and Red Wine's presence was very missed when they left. And I was like, man, that was special. But I'm just trying to think who was it before that. Let me Hey
Before
John,
who?
how you doing, Jordan?
What's up? What's up? Uh, I apologize for my tardiness.
I'm out.
I just got off an emergency conference call with the Insiders Club. We had to do some research because if you don't come correct with Shad, you might as well not come at all.
Hey man.
Pause.
Hey man.
Uh, but I'm here. Uh, I think I have my notes together as far as the Cam Kitchens situation.
Okay.
Uh, and I am eagerly awaiting
Would you consider? Are
Cupid.
you talking about career wise or just one time, like per season?
I'm just talking about because I was engaged in this conversation before last season, well before this season, right? And so the whole thing was it was two things that people were saying to give Cam the edge. Obviously, the All American, right? Secondly, they tried to say, well, hey, look, Cam didn't play on as good of a defense as Jaquan, so you should give him a flyer on that. Which my pushback to that was, well, Jaquan wasn't an AP All American, but there were other publications that did give him first team All American honors. Secondly, Jaquan Johnson was probably the biggest reason that those defenses were that good. So I can't say that okay, well, Cam played on a worse unit when Jaquan
Cam
made the unit he played on better.
Cam play with 2 5 stars.
So,
Yeah.
but
Well, what metrics or what exactly are we going to establish as the what determines what stat or what are we using to measure these young men?
well, you know what? I'm glad you asked that because from a statistical standpoint, all the stats are pretty much similar. But what I'll say is I'm looking at it from like the overall impact on the game, like during their tenure. Like I still remember, like obviously, of course, yes. Cam Kitchen's best game, Georgia Tech, 3 interceptions, a pick six, right? But that Georgia Tech team wasn't that good of a team. I still remember Jaquan Rayshon Jenkins in that Florida game. I still remember Rayshon Jenkins making a ton of
Cedric
plays.
Wedwine is Wedwine.
Yeah, I remember Redwine making plays his last year. I remember obviously Jaquan Johnson just being the force that he was. But me, I got Cam as third. I got him behind Jaquan and I got him behind Rayshon, right? And then I have Deion Bush after that at four. I have James Williams at five. I got Red Wine at six. I got Bubba at seven. I got
Well, you
Gervin
got
at
Bubba. I thought Bubba that one Bubba year. That's why I asked you. That one Bubba year, the year before he got hurt. That was, uh, that was up there.
Was
yeah,
it?
because I'm gonna tell you what's interesting about this, right? Even though Bubba did not finish the 21 season, I mean, in 3 years, right? I just did 3 years. In 3 years, Bubba Bolden had 127 tackles, 10 tackles for losses, 2 sacks, 2 interceptions, and 5 forced fumbles. So from a statistical standpoint, like you say, yeah, that I mean, those are solid numbers, from a non just elite player. You know what I mean? Those are good numbers. But that's what I have it as. But South Coast, what I mean, did they kind of answer the question? Or are you still kind of
Well,
in the
no, no, no,
woods?
no. Because I mean, when you come with your questions, I know you got all your information. Uh, but first, hey, what's up, Max? How's everybody doing in the chat?
What's up to the
Uh,
chat, Faith family, QB? What's up?
F
I
the
Max,
third.
OG Kane, Scar Breeze.
But
We in here.
yeah, talking about Bubba, I think that what was that 2020? You're talking about he had was that the year he had his
Yeah, with
that
the
was like his. I
iconic
mean, I think he had like 50 of his tackles and stuff. But to me, Bubba, he
that.
had that year, and then it's almost like he kind of started to.
I
I
don't
know
know.
he got hurt, and it almost seems like he kind of I don't want to say eased off, but but still, I mean, he was good.
Yeah, he was.
Uh but yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with what you say. I mean, like I said, I went back to 2013, and
Okay.
you got your because you said 10 years, and if
Yeah.
my math serves me correctly, that's 2013.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just joking.
No,
But
no,
no,
I
no,
mean,
no, no. I mean, I'm
you're
I'm
right
I'm
though. You're right.
I'm,
Yeah,
I'm
you're
just
right.
being funny.
Yeah.
But you know, because you was at 2013, 2014, you had Dion Bush was there, I believe, if I got my stuff right.
Yeah.
Uh, and then or 2015, he was there too. So Dion did good. That's why he's in the Super Bowl. But uh yeah, I mean, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Uh there there were some good ones, Uh
And I'm gonna tell you this. This is what really knocked Cam down for me is Coach Hayes said this, and a lot of people let it kind of flew under the radar. A lot of people didn't want to hear it or accept it. But Coach Hayes said something that was really profound, and it was like, "Hey, look, we can talk about this defense of last year, but if you take away some of those blown assignments and blown coverages, that defense looks statistically, it looks a lot different. It looks a lot more digestible, and a lot of those." I'm not gonna. Well, yeah, a lot of those blown coverages could be attributed to Cam Kitchens being overly aggressive in many instances,
right,
and
right.
him actually being taken out of the game. The Middle Tennessee State game, he was taken out of the game for some drives to kind of get his head back together. And I said, no, man. I mean, Jaquan never got took out the game. Ray Shaw never got took out the game. So just on that, yes, you won All American. You can't take that away from you. You know what I mean? You can't take it away. But I'm not going to just say just because you won an All American award that you're the best safety the past 10 years. And what kind of I wasn't going to really talk about this, but something irked me today when I saw someone say that, well, yeah, he was better than Dion and Rayshawn. And then someone came back behind him and said, yes, and it wasn't even close. And I said, see, this is the problem right here. Recency biased and the people just disregarding players that played before and pretending as if you didn't say that they were good while they were here and you just blamed you said the coaching was bad. It wasn't the talent. But now you're just saying, oh well no, really no, really was the talent. They weren't that good.
Yeah, it's what have you done for me lately?
Exactly, and I hate that.
And I'm gonna in order for me talking about them, in order for me to have a to be right, I'm gonna make it fit my narrative.
Exactly.
And with Cam, Cam had that year, he was all American.
Yes.
And I don't his talent level didn't drop off. I think just situations changed,
Yeah.
you know, and I don't know. I mean, you had some good ones. And again, everybody's entitled to their opinion,
Of course. Yeah.
but let's be real. Let's look at the numbers. Let's just take it. And if we have to go back and pull up pull up information, let's do that. Because I mean, let's think about, dude. That's a lot happened in 10 years.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know,
I picked out the notable guys, right? I could have put Amari Cooper. I mean, yeah, Amari Carter on here, Romeo Finley, but those two guys kind of got pushed to the striker position in many aspects. Obviously, Keontra Smith was brought here to be a safety, but ended up playing line.
right,
So
right.
there were some guys that I left off. I just more so put the guys
To,
that
to be
exclusively
honest, I
played.
think Jamal Carter was more solid than Cam. Cam was very inconsistent. Jamal Carter came to every
He
game
did.
and
He
you
did.
knew what he was going to do. It was like he was going to be at his spot every single time. And it's going to sound bad. It's like I'm not knocking Cam, right? But I don't think he was the best safety the past 10 years. He's
No,
up there,
yeah, of course, yeah, but
but
yeah, it's up there, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good call there, Cuban.
And
Yeah,
then you got
Jamal, 2013, 2014, 2015. He was like
solid.
he was at every game. He was averaging double digit tackles. Uh yeah. But again, I get it, and that's what's so fun about these. Let's find the best of the last X amount of years. You
yeah,
know, uh, me personally, I like to look at numbers.
okay,
Okay, because again, there's so many variables, like we just said about. I mean, there were things that happened team wise, defensive wise, opponent wise. That's why you know it's so hard to compare different years, much less different decades.
yeah,
But I mean, honestly, dude, I understand where you're coming from with these knuckleheads. I mean, if they think Cam was the greatest, okay, fine, that's your opinion. But it is what it is.
Sam Coles, and this is what kind of gets me right because it was under the influence. Like, okay, well, look, Cam blew some coverages, right? And so the guy's like, so what? He blew some coverages. He made plays, and I'm like, well, wait a minute now. We can't sit up here and say that blowing giving up 6 points isn't a big deal. I mean, we ran a defensive coordinator out of town
Mm.
because of that, right? So that's a big deal. Yes he made some plays. I mean, of course he made some plays, but it wasn't to the point to say that he was making so many plays that it just completely covers up all of the other plays that he may have missed. And I don't like people saying, "Oh, well, you just hate Cam." It's like, hey, we gotta stop getting to this point where if you're critical of something or somebody, that you're automatically labeled a hater. Because the first thing
Right,
that pops in my
right,
mind is that
right.
you have no other defensive. You do not want to engage in a friendly dialogue. You much rather say, "Oh, you're a hater. You're not a real fan."
That
You
that
know,
seems to be the trend in the world today. You know, Nobody wants to say, Cuban, you're right. You know, or Cuban. I mean, Cuban even told Dub City the other day,
Up City, yeah.
you're right.
People just not man enough to do that.
Exactly, exactly. And
And
it's really sad that it's come to that, to where if I don't agree with you, Shad, I just man, you just hating, bro. You ain't a real fan. You don't
yeah,
know.
yeah,
Instead of like, that's a damn good point. And I hate that. I hate that, dude. I'm just like you. I hate that.
yeah.
Because
Hey,
none of us have all the answers. None of us are always right. We just give our opinions, bro.
oh yeah, but yeah. Before we move on, South Coast, I know you're excited. I'm I'm gonna give you a quick story, right? Then we're gonna get back to the Canes, right? Because I know people hate when we kind of venture off into other things. I'm gonna tell you this. I found out about Lewis Hamilton
Oh,
watching Top Gear. Top Gear is my favorite show, non scripted,
I
series.
have
That's the original.
I actually have all the seasons.
Yes, I loved it. That was my absolute favorite show. Lewis Hamilton came on there. I believe he was 19. He
Yeah,
was
that's right
19.
before he went to Mercedes.
Yes, he came on. He was 19. Drove the reasonably priced car. All that stuff like that. I think he actually set the track record. They got.
At that
So
time, yeah, yeah.
yeah, so that's when I found out about Lewis Hamilton. So yeah, from Top Gear. The original crew, the Clarkson, the Jeremy May, and the Richard Hammond. So yeah, so yeah. But Cuban, you got anything else on this particular subject?
Well,
I,
there's a show on Amazon that's pretty good that you need to watch. It shows you how bad McLaren is. I forgot what it was. McLaren had like a horrible engine. They went through Mercedes and they did Honda, and then at the end of the contract, Honda dropped them. And it's amazing where you see McLaren at now, but they used to be. They were really bad. I forgot the name of the show, but it's an amazing show
It is.
where I think it's called Grand Prix Driver. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's some kind of
Grand
old. Yeah, yeah, it's old,
Grand
man.
Prix Driver, but it
Yeah,
was it's very amazing because they go into the background of what F1 is and the sciences and the wheels and just everything and the drivers and making sure you get the right drivers. But it's amazing because you can see how difficult this F1 is, to get to the top, but you have to watch it. But now, moving on to a different topic. This is going to be a very controversial question. I have two answers, by the way.
uh-oh, here
So
we
this is
go.
the question.
okay, well, South Cuban Kane is putting a topic in between the recruiting topic. Well,
Yes.
South, well, Cuban. What is it about? And
It's
maybe
about it's about hurricanes, but it's like
no.
I said.
I mean,
It's I have to ask. Once I ask a
okay.
question, you'll give me the answer. All right. So this is the question.
I'm just trying to see if I got some notes written down for it, so I'm not
No,
completely blank.
no, no.
No,
I,
This
no, just
I
no,
like
because
to be
Jordan,
prepared.
Jordan,
hey,
Jordan, Jordan touched it a little bit. No, the pause, but we're going to dive deep in a little bit in this one. Okay. So
just
this is
sit
the
back,
question.
Shad. Sit back.
Okay,
So
okay.
this is the question.
I just want to see if I got some notes on it.
Give me two or three narratives that you want to squash about Miami Hurricanes football. I could start off. I'm gonna give you the easy one. Okay. I'm gonna give you one.
Within the
No,
fan base or from other teams?
the fan base, the other team, whatever
Okay,
whatever
okay,
the tickles your
okay.
heart, right? The number one that I hate is Mario is the only one that could save Miami. I
Oh yeah,
hate that narrative.
yeah.
I'm like, what makes Mario the greatest coach on the earth that he is the only person that could save Miami from getting back to being great? It could be Jimmy Johnson from Oklahoma State. We don't know, right? That could turn this program around, right? But I hate this. Okay, this is my opinion. This is not Shad or Jordan's. I hate when Kane Sports, Orange Bowl Brothers, Flo say Mario's the only one that could save this job. I'm like, shut that shit up. That is not true. It's like anybody could do it. Who knew that Mike Norvell was the coach to turn Florida State around? Nobody knows that answer. So when I hear that stupid narrative, Mario's the only one that could turn this around. It irks me and it's like, all right, I have to unfollow. I have to stop listening because y'all pushing this BS narrative that started probably with Kane Sport, right? Mario's the only one that could save Miami. I'm like, I hate that narrative. Stop that BS. But the next one is very controversial. I just want to give you my narrative that I can't stand hearing it, and just irks me to the umpth degree.
What's the next one?
No, I'm gonna save it for last because
Oh,
that's gonna be a long one.
oh, dude, I
So
was
I'm
on
gonna
the edge
say
of my
I'm gonna
chair,
say
bro.
Okay,
I'm gonna save that
okay,
one because you guys
okay,
might disagree with me. So I'm gonna save that one.
okay,
I want to hear
Oh,
one
good.
from you guys. See if you say it.
okay. Well, the one that I just had it. I might have to let South Coast go before me because I had it just then. South Coast,
Well,
South Coast, you go. I'll think. I gotta think about it again.
man, where do I start? And it all starts with the hype machine. We've discussed this at length. Matter of fact, I have a little snippet I was going to play on my show tomorrow night, but the you were talking about the Orange Bowl boys. Uh there was this dude, this guy, Adam Lichtenstein or some whatever his name is. I think he's a reporter for Sun Centennial or some new. I don't know,
Give me
but
1 second. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
all right. And the reason why I found because I saw a short. Anyway, well, the Orange Bowl boys had asked him about what he thought the about the Canes looking this spring and stuff. And right on cue, this reporter, who's a Florida graduate, by the way, starts talking this stuff about looking good and the schedule looks easy and they got very winnable opponents and yada. And it started, and that, I guess what I'm getting at is it's just the automatically everybody feeding off of the hype machine or the tit of the hype machine. That's right, I said it. Of you look at the schedule and all you see is, you see the Dukes and the Virginia Techs, Georgia Techs, et cetera, teams that they feel we should win, and you don't take things into consideration. But yeah, just to come out in February and say, we have winnable games. We're going to win this much, and yeah, a thing about Mario, exactly that, just to come out and say, oh, he's going to bring Miami to the promised land, you know, he's going to take us through over the River Jordan into the promised land. He's the one. He's the only one. He's the one that's ever, no disrespect to Mario, but he's just a cog in the wheel, bro. And I guess for a lot, I mean, it's 2024, dude. So, for a while there, everybody was wanting to get back to the 80s. Now everybody wants to get back to the early 2000s. And people just, you have to use the discernment filter, but the hype machine, that's what pisses me off.
Okay. All right, I got mine right here. I had to write it down because I didn't want to forget it again. This is it. Mario is recruiting better than anyone else in school history. Now, this is what I have to say about this, right? And Cuban gets on me for saying this, but Cuban, I'm being honest. I don't follow recruiting. I'm a part of a message board, so I just by default, I'm going to see some recruiting information, and I have to. It's gonna be in my mind, but this is lacking so much context. This particular narrative, it's lacking so much context. And the reason it's lacking context is because for the past, because I got on message boards and really found out about people talking about Canes probably in 2012, right? So we're talking about right over 11 years, right? What I've heard for 11 years in terms of Miami Hurricane recruiting was that bag men from the SEC were buying players, and Miami could not combat that because obviously Nevin Shapiro went down. And if the University of Miami ever got caught soliciting funds to any of these recruits, the program will be put on it, will be, given the death penalty. So that's what I've heard for 11 years. So if I've heard that for 11 years, and now we're in an era of college football where you can pay players via NIL, via just straight up pay for play. I'm not going to hide it behind NIL. Why am I to believe that Mario Cristobal is the greatest recruiter in program history when I was told for 11 years the reason that the other guys could not recruit is because of the NCAA looking at Miami every single time? Miami couldn't sneeze or blink an eye the wrong way, and NCAA is coming in with an investigation. and we couldn't have bag men because we were a repeat offender in many aspects. So that's the again that
Damn it, Shad, you were gonna say what I was gonna say in a similar way. My other narrative was Mario's a great recruiter. I'm like, is he? Because when he was at FIU, he didn't recruit well. When he was at Rutgers, he didn't recruit well. The only way he quote unquote recruits was when he has money in his bag. Alabama and Oregon, right? I'm like, is he a good recruiter or is it the money is a good recruiter? The reason we're getting all these players is because of what? Money. It's not because he's a good recruiter. He didn't get Cam Moore because he recruited him well. He got Cam Moore because he had the most money to offer him, right? So I'm like, give Randy Shannon the same type of budget that Mari has had at Alabama and Oregon. Let's see what Randy Shannon does with that, you know. And it's like what a good recruiter is to me is a talent evaluator. He could get a 3 star and make him look like a 10 star. Mario has not done that. That does not mean you are a good recruiter. You're doing what Larry Coker did. You know what Larry Coker did? He opened up that magazine and said, "Who are the top players in the nation?" And I'm going to recruit them. No, that's not a good recruiter. But Dave is the good recruiter. He will look at a kid and he'll like, okay, within 3 to 4 years, he's gonna look like this and he's gonna build the way he is. You know, everybody thinks Mario's a good recruiter because of Penei Sewell. That is only he's only really put two NFL players in two college players in the NFL that went first round. Manny did the same thing with Greg Rousseau and Jalen Phillips. So does that mean Manny's a great recruiter? Manny recruited the top players out of the state of Florida every year that he was here. James Williams, Leonard Taylor, and I forgot who else was it. One of the running backs, right? Well, it was 2 years, right? Those 2 years.
yeah
So is Manny a great recruiter because he didn't have the bag man with him. He had to recruit, you know, because the BS that Manny couldn't was scared to compete against Alabama and Georgia. He didn't have the money to compete against them. Mario does. You think players really want to come to a school that's 5-7 and 7-5 and keep losing to the ACC? Mario, my BS narrative is Mario's a great recruiter. I'm gonna tell you right now, there's no one on this team right now that will get recruited higher than Greg Rousseau and Jalen Phillips.
you know what, Cuban, like I said, I argued that point with people before. I argued it with it. And the point would be, well, look, he won recruiter of the year at Alabama. And my rebuttal would be, okay, well, but y'all also said that Nick Saban, they're buying the kids Chargers. Y'all said they got the big bag men are at Alabama and LSU. So they say, oh, you know what, you right. But what about Oregon? I said, well, if you don't know that Chip Kelly got a no show clause because of they were utilizing a guy out in Texas to help them illegally recruit. So they were under some type of sanctions. So they were already showing that look, hey, we're trying to get in this game. We just are kind of new to it. We're trying to figure it out. So Mario brings what he learned at Alabama over there to Oregon. But I'll say this, Cuban. I don't I'm like you. In this day and age, I don't know who's a good recruiter. I don't. I think Mario does. I do think
Just
Mario
let
is
me
a
pause for a
hard
second.
worker.
Let me get cut in for a second. Look at Bama and Oregon recruits after they still recruiting on a high level. So it's like if you're a great recruiter, when you leave, it drops off, right? So recruiting at Oregon's gotten better. Recruiting at Bama has gotten better. I see Ebron disagrees with me, but I would love for Ebron to jump in to see what he disagrees on. But going back to what you're saying, Ebron, it's like when Mario left Bama, they got better recruits. When he left Oregon, they got better. So again, this whole narrative that he's a great recruiter, I don't get. I'm sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to chime in on
Oh,
that.
it's no, there's no problem. No, but like I said, I don't know, right? I mean, I look at it because again, it's kind of like what South Coast said. you're gonna pick whichever narrative fits whatever agenda that you're trying to push. So again, so I heard for 11 years that the reason that Miami was suffering in recruiting, one was okay, we have to win games, but two was well, bag men are stealing all the players. Patrick Johnson was stolen. End up being Patrick Peterson. He was stolen. He was ready, signed, sealed, and delivered. LSU swoops in last minute. He leaves. I remember it was a situation with I can't remember the two guys' names, but they were like a package deal. They were going to commit to Al Golden. Alabama swoops in. Bagmen. So I've heard that Ohio State. We couldn't get the Bosa brothers. Oh, bagmen in Ohio State. They bagmen. So if that's the case, now we have the bag now and can persuade the young men to, give them something to look at, then why are you going to say that he's the best recruiter since in school history? And like you said, Cuban, I was thinking about that the other day. I said, man, I hope this works out because this would be so ironic if it turns around and that you were doing exactly what it was Larry Coker was doing and just picking up the best players based on a recruiting service.
Yeah.
But South Coast, you got something you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, my personal opinion is when it comes to recruiting and bringing in players, it's kind of like what Jakari touched on. You have to have, in my opinion, I've always said this, is as the head coach, if I was the head coach, okay, this is what I want our team to look like. This is going to be our standard. This is how things are going to operate. We're going to run this kind of offense. We're going to run this kind of defense. This is what we are going to do. Okay. Now, if this is the system, the scheme that we're going to run, let's find players who will greatly benefit in that system, and that system will benefit from those players, regardless of how many stars they may get. Okay. But it's like, in the last few years, it's really gotten pretty crazy. It's all about the stars, the stars, the stars. How many 5 stars do you have? What's up, Wayne? What's up? And you don't, and it's like, well, how does this young man fit into what Miami's trying to do? That's exactly like to Cuban's point. That's exactly what bit Coker the choker in the ass. You know,
And
it,
again, I mean,
you know.
I don't mean to cut
No,
you
no,
off.
no, no. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
These recruit services, right? I looked this up because, like I said, this was the subject I wanted to talk about. They have written that look, I'm not. We are only 50% accurate on 5 and 4 stars. So that means the percentage of hit rate after 5 and 4 stars goes down exponentially. So what does that mean in the grand scheme of things? That means that we're not even we can't even guarantee 60 or 70% of these guys are going to actually make it. So to kind of get back over here to kind of since we're talking recruiting, let's kind of get back on this subject, right? So we got Marcus Lightfoot, according to On Three. Guys hated On Three last year because of the Jaden Wayne situation, but they
But
love it
now,
now.
now they love them.
They love it. So Lightfoot, number 2 at his position. Armando Blunt, number 6. Justin Scott, number 2. So that gives us 3 5-star defensive linemen. So based on what these recruiting services say, one of these defensive linemen is going to make it. One of them is going to be a failure, and the other one is going to from a they're going to be like right there. Like they may be like a Jafari Harvey, where it's like I'm not so bad that I can't play, but I'm not the 5-star. So that's what they say. So according to, again, I did my research. 247 wrote their own article, tooting their own horn, said, look, we're the most efficient with this, right? 247 said, Marcus Lightfoot, you're the 6th ranked defensive end.
Right in the bucket.
Blunt, you're number 9. Justin Scott, you're number 3. There's not 3 5-star defensive linemen on this, right? So, and Jordan Lyle, the running back, according to 247, you're the 15th best back in the country. On three, you're the number one running back in the country, right? So again, I think too many people are putting too much because,
It fits their agenda.
but I'm glad Cuban brought this up because this is another narrative, right? The whole thing of it is like, okay, well, how good is Ohio State? How good is Alabama? They're getting the best players all the time. They're recruiting the most players or whatever the situation is. They're not really developing these particular players and stuff like this. So if that's the point, if that's what you're saying, then isn't that the same thing that's going isn't that the same thing that's going to happen in Miami? Like a lot of these players are not going to be developed. A lot of these players that you're
Mm.
comparing to Warren Sapp and Jerome Brown and Aaron Donald, they're not going to reach that.
Hmm.
So they love the recruiting services now because again, like I'm asking you two guys this question because again, this kind of coincides, right? They were mad with 247 last year because of Ruben Bain. Now I don't know how often you guys watch the NFL, but I'm sure you watching enough. How many teams are drafting 6'2" defensive ends in the first round? How
I,
many are
I was
doing that?
I was
280
just
pounds.
I was
280
just
pounds.
just
Who's
thinking that. What's up,
who's
Nat?
doing that?
Look. I mean, you look at the draft, the NFL draft. Okay, NFL's a business. The NFL is going to do what's going to make their team piece of. How many Heisman Trophy winners that went into the draft went number one compared to how many offensive tackles? Oh, cool from the crib. What's
I'm
up?
from the
You
crib.
know, how
Going
many,
on?
What's up?
it's like you see where I'm getting at. In other words, the teams in the NFL are going to draft and get what's going to benefit their system. They
Yeah,
don't give a rat's ass about on three, 247. They don't care how many stars this dude has. Whatever fits their program and their system. And, you know, go ahead, Shad.
Well, this is my thing, right? Let's talk about the 3 recruits Chad talked about.
Right.
Who was the first? Lightfoot. Lightfoot is light in the ass, right? And as you've seen, our
is he as
strength and
light as
core.
Pickett?
Well,
Yeah,
well,
no,
he's light,
no, he's not.
and and if you think about our great strength coordinator with the stupid mustache and that stupid horn, he couldn't
Oh,
get the player. What's buddy that transferred the dude from Cali from Nevada. The he was
Uh,
light and he never gained a inch of weight
Oh,
out here, right?
oh,
Wayne, not Wayne.
you talking about? No, you
damn.
talking about? He's oh
What's
god,
his
number 38, 39.
39? Yeah, whatever, right? He never gained an inch of weight out here, right?
I hate we don't know that man's name.
That's messed up, I know.
Right.
I don't
Wow.
feel bad myself now.
Right, and then we have a 16-year-old
Cyrus
defensive.
Moss,
Moss.
Moss,
Travis
yes.
Moss, yes.
Yeah.
Moss never gained weight
Yes,
at
Cyrus
Miami.
Moss, right?
So we're going to expect, Lightfoot to gain weight and become this beast of a player, right? Then we have a 16-year-old defensive end, defensive tackle. You
Mondo
have
Blunt.
to, huh?
Mondo Blunt.
Armando Blunt, yes. So you mean that
Armando.
you have to give him? He's going up against grown men, 16 years old, going up against a 22-year-old. You got to give that man 2 to 3 years in order to get his man bones. In 2 to 3 years, he'll be 18 years old. He still wouldn't have his man body. So you have to wait for that man to be 19 or 20 to really get his man body,
Right.
right? And then you have not Stone. What was the other the defensive tackle?
Justin Scott.
Scott.
Justin Scott. Then you got
Yeah,
Justin Scott, right? Played in a very weak league in Chicago, right?
uh,
So it's like he has the only chance to make it. But I love Coach Hayes, and I listened to his WREs, right? Coach Hayes said he will be a better offensive lineman than a defensive lineman,
He
right?
said he's very raw.
He said he's very raw, right? So now, it's like You have these three. Mario's a great recruiter, right? Like they've been saying. None of and I hate going back to Manning. None of these three guys would be better than Russo or Phillips,
And you know
right?
what?
So
Octavius Jones might actually end up being the best out of them. It's possible.
might
Right.
Well,
maybe.
You
he's
know,
the
and
best athlete right now.
And
Yeah.
hold on,
When we talk
and one more
about
thing. I want to address E. Brown's comment about Alabama excel with or without Mario. Oregon's continued success stems from Mario's system. That was another narrative I was going to hit. Mario's system. I'll make a prediction that you'll see diminish at Oregon. Oregon has been balling better without Mario. The only team they've lost to was Washington that went to a national championship, right? They didn't lose to mid-program Utah or Stanford. They dominated out there. Mario did not dominate when he was at Oregon. But I'm sorry,
it,
going back to recruiting.
it's all about the game plan and the system that those coaches have set up, dude.
right.
Yeah.
That's what we're
Yeah.
talking about, right?
Yeah,
And
but
again, I am cautiously optimistic seeing all these talented young men coming to Miami. But what does it translate to on the field? What product is that going to bring to the field?
But Jordan, let me just give it 1 second. The thing is, you can recruit whoever you want. The first person they meet is that strength and conditioning coordinator. And if he sucks, your whole program will suck. That's why Tommy Moffitt was so critical. These guys are coming into a joke of a strength and conditioning program, right? I don't care who recruit. You have to meet the mustache man, right? And once you meet that
Oh,
much, and I don't want to hear facilities and blah blah blah. A weight room is a weight room is a weight room. You can go to 24/7 and Equinox. They have the same type of weights, and one is more expensive than the other one. A weight room is a weight room is a weight room. I'm sorry, John. Go ahead.
No. I'm
it's
just
a tough crowd.
it,
Good.
it's just again, I think everything that we're talking about is all part of the hype machine and people just trying to artificially make things up is about the best way I could say it.
yeah,
It's like, okay, great. We got 10 5 stars. So what? You know,
Right.
but it that's why I like you guys. We keep it real. People say we're just, dark clouds. We're not true Kane fans. We don't know what it's about. Oh, I know what it's about. And again, like the recruiting services, they're in it for the money, dude. Love don't pay the rent, baby. You
no,
know?
no.
And again, if okay, let's say we had a recruiting service. As long as we say Miami got this 5 star guy, he got this 5 star guy, guess what? We're the greatest thing since sliced bread in the wheel. But
Yeah,
if we say he's about a 4 star, oh, what do y'all know? Y'all don't know anything. Y'all a bunch of idiots. Y'all ain't worth a shit. But then next year we come back, 5 star. We love you. And that's just the bullshit I get tired of. And we all see through it. But
Let Cool chime in. We haven't heard from Cool. Let Cool chime in.
I'm
yeah,
go ahead.
I was gonna ask Cool about the first topic. Does he feel Cam Kitchens is the best safety over the past decade?
If he's not, he's got to be in the top five because and he's not by all means a perfect prospect, but bro, there he just has certain intangibles that that makes him to me a game changer. To me, a game changer in certain aspects. I'll say that a game changer in certain aspects. I will admit he's not the fastest, but what he lacks in pure raw physical ability, he makes up for with football IQ. He's just very instinctive at position. He has always shown versatility and he's always shown versatility, and it's just he's almost a jack of all trades at safety, man. I think he'll definitely be successful and translate. I think one thing he can do is, he can work a little bit on his long speed, but as far as when we're talking about one of the best in your history, I definitely think he's up there, bro. Definitely.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know when you jumped on, but yeah, I got him behind um, Jaquan and Rayshawn. And Rayshawn just may be more of a biased pick from my perspective because I love Rayshawn Jenkins, and it was really until last year that I really got the appreciation for Jaquan that I needed to get. So I put Jaquan above Rayshawn. But yeah. But
Oh,
that's
Jake. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
not what you were saying.
No, yeah, Jaquan is literally from my neighborhood.
Oh,
That's the funniest thing about it. Yeah,
wow.
no,
Cool, cool.
Jaquan,
That's cool.
Jaquan is definitely from Richmond Heights. We're originally from Richmond Heights area. No, definitely Jaquan is definitely up there. He really was definitely a game changer for that defense, man. In his time, bro. And Rashawn Jenkins doesn't get enough love as well.
No.
Um, um, but definitely Jaquan, and then Jaquan. Got to be honest with you, another one not physically gifted, but just makes up for it in just pure instincts and versatility.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see you coming from QB and workforce. It's not that I'm trying to be tough or anything. It's just I'm tired of the BS with this program, whether it be Manning, Mario, Rick, so on and so forth. It's like every year it's rinse and repeat the same stuff that gets said in the off season, and it's just like enough is enough, right? Like it's like, all right, I get it, right? Every year we have the greatest recruiting class. We got it this, we got that. It's like enough, oh, guys. Let's call it what it is, and let's get this program where it needs to be. And the way that that starts is by getting the BS out the way, right? It's
Right.
like
And you hear
let's go ahead, Jordan.
I was just gonna say, I agree. You just get tired of the it's like they just keep refueling that hype machine, dude. And I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
It,
and it's funny because uh, Coop was mad. I'm like, Coop was like, I'm not getting that paycheck, and it's like it just seems like there's a paycheck going out every off season. Hey, talk positive about the Canes. Say that this is the greatest thing on the earth. And this was my third narrative that gets me annoyed. When they're showing the Senior Bowl clips. Oh, Mario built that. Mario did this.
I
I'm
did
like,
see
yo.
that.
it's
I saw that.
it's
I'm
all
like,
about the propaganda, dude. I
I saw them
mean,
talking about the center from Oregon.
yeah, I'm like, man, if Mario did this, then why the bleep we go 5-7, 7-7? It's like, if Mario is this much of a great coach, and it's like, when we do bad, right? It's Manny's fault. When these
when
players do good, it's
Mario's
Mario. And I'm like, hold on. You know that Cam Kitson and James Williams and Leonard Taylor were recruited by Manning, right? Oh, but that just like with Shad, you got that little clip. Oh, that was different though, right? You got that little clip, Shad. Oh, but that was different, right?
Oh,
Oh yeah,
Um,
I got
Cuban
it.
King,
yeah,
I
yeah,
do
yeah.
gotta
Hit him with
rebut
that.
this one point. I do gotta rebut one. Manny he didn't want Cam Kitchen. Cam Kitchens revealed that.
Yeah. So that happens every year. There's coaches that don't want players. Metcalf, right? He wanted to come to Miami, but we didn't want him. JJ Watts wanted to come to Miami. We didn't want him. That
Oh, no,
happens
yeah.
every year. That happens. That's coaching. This is why the
But
narrative
we
of
ain't getting
Mario.
them in spite of, you know.
Hold on, cool. Let me give this is why I
Okay.
hate that narrative that Mario's a great recruiter. Miami's gonna get players no matter who the coach is. You heard Duke on Kingsville, so he's like, I was coming to Miami if I was the coach. He didn't care. There's certain players that are gonna go to Miami no matter what, right? So it's like
All right.
it doesn't. So that's my whole narrative. Like, oh, he is this great recruiter, but I'm like, no, Miami, the school, the city is a great recruiter. Any kids are going to come to Miami. Don't matter if they win one game or they win 11 games. It's just we haven't had good coaching. My bad,
But
Cole. Go ahead.
but I do have to say this in response.
Great point.
Yeah, but I do think we're going to get mid to upper tier. But I do have to say this though. I do think, and I'm not saying that Jeremiah Smith getting out of Miami is necessarily bad because we just need playmakers so bad per se or whatever. I think where there is an issue at when a Shamar Stewart or a Jeremiah Smith leaves Miami and goes elsewhere, there's still this cloud over the program as to you're still not having your pick of the litter of the pups in your own backyard. It's not more so that just because we need a skill guy or a edge guy, but the fact of is that your cream of the crop is still not getting there. So there's still much to be desired from that aspect. And I do gotta rebut this too.
Hold on, let me get you on that one.
All
I'm
right, go
get you.
ahead.
This is gonna be me and cool. Y'all, Shad and South Coast go on vacation. All right.
All right,
All right. So you said
go ahead.
who are the top players in the state of Florida the last 2 years?
No, I was saying it's top players in our backyard
No,
was
no, no.
Shamar
Let's
Stewart and
Shamar
and
Stewart and
and
who?
Jeremiah Smith.
Okay. Prior towards that, who was the top players in the state of Florida?
You say prior towards that.
Yeah, James Williams
I mean, yeah.
and yes, and who got James Williams?
No, yeah, James Williams and
Leonard
what's his
Taylor
name? Leonard Taylor.
and Rooster, right? So how come one sorry coach with no money could get, and he's not even known for a being a recruiter, was able to get the top players, but this massive great recruiter cannot land the top players from the state of Florida. You are known as a recruiter and you cannot land the top player, but you have this. I don't like Manny, but you got Manning, this defensive coordinator that
Really?
cannot recruit, that doesn't want players to go to his team, was able to nab the top player every year when he was a head coach in the state of Florida. Please
Was it
explain that to
every
me.
year? I'm gonna explain that to you. Was it
Okay.
every year or was that his third year?
His second and third year, he got the top players.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. So that you just showed that there was a progression. You just pointed out that there's a progression. So
We
meaning,
haven't nailed the top player in the state of Florida yet.
well, what I'm saying is this. No, but I never said the top player in the state of Florida. I said the ones in your own backyard. So that's what I'm saying. That's why I pointed specifically at Jeremiah Smith and a Shamar Stewart because these guys were in your back. The top players in the state were in your backyard. You know what I mean?
So was James, so was Leonard Taylor, so
And
was
he got them.
Brewster, and
No,
yeah, yeah,
no,
he
you're
got
right. And he got
so
them, but did he get the best out of them? Did Manny get the best out of them?
we don't know. He didn't get
Well,
the
no,
opportunity
we
to coach
do
him
know.
all the way through. He didn't
Well,
get the
we
opportunity to get him all the way through. He only coached him
so
1 year.
but that's what I'm saying is all I'm saying. I'm just well. So wait, what's the case that we're making? Because the only thing I'm just saying is I'm actually agreeing that and don't get me wrong. Now the recruiting prowess it does there's some merit is what I'm saying. But I'm not telling you he's the greatest of all time. I said that there's a lot to be desired because again, you did not get a Shamar Stewart and you did not get a Jeremiah Smith. And I do have to say this because we can all agree that we did luck up with Bain, and we can say without a shadow of a doubt that Bain is a better prospect. this stage in his career than Shamar Stewart is in his going into his junior year.
Facts.
So there's proof that we did get a player that may have not been top tier. He should be the top. He should have been the best player in Florida. Matter of fact, one of the top rushers in
In
the
the
country.
nation.
But he was developed. He definitely was developed, and he's the impact player on the team
Hold
as
on,
a
hold on, hold on, hold on. What do you mean develop? He's only been here 1 year.
no, but
Ruben Bain was a beast.
he's
Ruben Bain
produced.
would have been a beast wherever he's at.
No,
What
but what I'm
developed is
saying
hold
is,
on. What so if
well,
he's
you asked a
developed, what
question.
happened to Cyrus Moss then?
Well,
Because
but
Cyrus
then
Moss
no,
was
yes,
recruited.
I'm glad. Let me say something to that. Ruben Bain came in at 250 pounds and he got to 275.
Let me jump in because I great points on both sides. I
No,
just
I like it. I like it.
no, I'll just say this though. Shamar Stewart as well as Jeremiah Smith, they both were at positions of need, but
Right.
I do think that, and I said this before. I looked at what Kendrick Norton did here. I looked at what R.J. McIntosh did. I looked at what Trent Harris was able to do. Those are just some of the guys that were, golden guys. Um, I think that we've been able to get some good players in that second tier. And again, it kind of just goes back to the whole
Agreed.
aspect of the whole argument before Mario got here was that coaching was the problem. It was never a talent issue, right? I remember we obviously got Anthony Chickalo was a big time get.
Right.
I know people forget about him, but Raphael Kirby was a top 100 linebacker out of the state of Georgia. That was a big time,
Absolutely.
but it was just his injuries hindered him. So I mean, like I
He
said,
never got huge either.
yeah, I don't like I said, the recruiting is a great, you know, topic. We can kind of go back and forth about it, but I don't want to. I don't. You guys are having good dialogue about it, but I think it's going to be one of those situations where yes, Manny was able to get LT and James Williams, and then we were able to get two of the best running backs out of South Florida, and Chiney as well as Rooster. But like you say, cool. I mean, we got Bain, and from a freshman standpoint, Bain has done more than Shamar Stewart has done, which I think you could see that just from what he did at the high school level, because
Right.
Shamar Stewart didn't put up those type of numbers.
Exactly.
Yeah. So South Coast, you got something to interject? We back from vacation.
Oh, okay.
Oh, y'all gonna go
Let me
back
get
on
the
vacation because I
let
was
me
gonna
get the
roast. I was gonna get cool, but go ahead.
get the sand off of me. I'm just waiting to talk about X and Cam. But nah, it's all it is what it is. I mean, it depends on what the coaching staff and the assistants and everybody else, how they develop these players, how do they mold them, how
Right.
do they make them the best on the field, whether they have no stars. Yeah, that was wild, man. I saw that this evening, man. Apollo Creed, RIP, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's messed up. But yeah, I mean, my opinion, it doesn't matter who you get, it doesn't matter what you get. It's just what do you do when you get what you get,
That's true.
And are you recruiting based on the flavor of the day, or are you recruiting for the success, the success of the program as well as those young men? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So Cuban cool. I'll let y'all get y'all last thoughts on that. Then
Yeah,
we'll move
yeah.
on.
So cool. Let me ask this question: what happened to Nigel Lee Kelly, Cyrus Moss?
Nigel Kelly got
Um,
hurt.
I mean, they didn't get developed.
He
I
was
mean,
a 17-year-old. And actually, he produced better than Shamar Stewart did because he had 4 sacks. And Shamar is going into his junior year just accumulating 1.5 per year. Nigel
okay,
Lee produced 4 his freshman year.
okay.
Gained weight too. He didn't stay at 240.
No, Nigel League is still a
225.
little bit of a toothpick. He still gets pushed around. He
Well, can I say this? You asked
Go
me a
ahead.
question now, right?
Yep.
You asked me a question. So, but he produced. He produced. He developed. He developed under this coaching staff. He produced. He had 4 sacks. And when you're saying, but he can't say toothpick. He's 250 pounds. And again, I point to well, Bain gained 25 pounds. I cannot explain other than the anatomy, which uh, Coach, what's his name? Taylor was talking to the guy. Was like, listen, bro, I struggle with weight too. Play your game. Play your game. Do not worry about the weight. The weight will come. That's how he was coaching the guy up. But go ahead.
Um, but Cuban, if you got anything else?
No, I just don't. I just don't see it. I think Bane was going to be Bane no matter what.
No, and I'm not doubting that.
Huh?
But let's be honest. Let's be honest, though. We can say what we want, but Mario did produce. And remember, before there wasn't no Jason Taylor there. He did produce. What's his name? Thibodeau. And Thibodeau did lead freshman in sacks his freshman
Let me cook. Let me cook. All right. All right.
year.
Here, this this
Go
this is
ahead,
this
Chef.
this is where I got it. Okay. So Mario produced Thibodeau. Manny produced
He's a
Rousseau
first
and
round.
Jalen. Hold on.
Yeah.
Manny produced Jalen Rousseau and Jalen Phillips.
Uh,
Stop with this. What he Mario didn't produce. I mean, okay, he
no,
produced.
but when you
He
say he
produced.
didn't produce, who did?
What he produced two players. What makes it seem like he's this great producer? I don't get it. It
Now,
always goes to two players, Sewell and
I didn't argue that.
Thibodeau,
I
right?
didn't
That's
argue. I'm not arguing. See, but then that's why I wanted to ask, what are we arguing? I didn't say that he was a great coach. This brother, he still got stuff to learn. He didn't take the knee. This is not cool from the
Nah,
crib
nah,
making the case that
we not having we not having no Mario.
it's
right.
not.
I ain't say
This is not this.
Mario's great. I didn't say that.
No, it's not
Hey,
that. It's just this.
I just
And
want
it's
to prove what he
not
did.
a Rocky. It's not a Mario Manic debate. It's just this negative. Not negative.
We
This
better not have a Mario
narrative.
in the debate
It's this
because I'm sorry.
narrative, but it's just the narrative that keeps getting pushed around. And
Exactly.
I'll be the anti this. I don't care. It's like until I see the results on the field, I am not gonna believe into the hype of what people are pitching me. I'm not gonna do that. You know what
Oh
I'm
no,
saying?
I
This
don't
this
believe
pro
in no hype news.
There's plenty of
You have to show.
opportunities available
I
for
think
Thank
success.
you. Exactly.
Cuban. I think all of us right here. I think all of us, are along them same lines. It's time
Yeah.
to produce. You can talk about culture, all of whatever it is
Yeah.
that you want
Exactly.
to talk about, but at the end of the day, yeah, it's time to produce, right?
But
You
Chad,
got your
we're
players.
not we're not there to produce it. This is going to be year three, and we've gone over this again. We're going
So
on year three, right? And his players still might not have the ability to play it, or they just might start playing, right? So it is
well,
not time to produce. Everybody's
well,
predicting
Cuban.
a 10-game winning season, and I'm thinking about it's going to look like seven
Well,
or eight or nine because we're going to have a lot of young players playing.
We're going
well,
12
You
and
know,
0, dude. 12 and 0.
well,
Easy
well, Cuban.
schedule.
Well, Cuban.
Bro.
We did say this on one of our powwows that it could just. I mean, from starting, not just the two deep, but just the starting 11. We may just have three Mario high school recruits starting on defense. We have talked about that, right? And the three are Ruben Bain, Wes Saint, and Damari Brown. So
Oh,
we
the Saint was a sophomore.
what you say?
The Saint was a sophomore.
Hmm?
he said, but
He was
Saint's
a
a sophomore.
sophomore. Yeah, he's ahead of Bain.
No, I
But
was talking. No, I was talking about just those. Maybe the three high school recruits that just may start on defense next year.
oh, you
But
mean
but
okay?
weren't they 5 stars?
No,
No, all them are
no,
all
all of them were
4
full.
stars. Yeah. So
I was
because
being
again, from
sarcastic.
defensive
Right?
tackle, defensive tackle, they talk about two transfers starting there. Obviously Mesidor, he was a
That's
transfer
right.
portal guy.
Right,
Daryl Porter's a transfer portal guy. Kiko's transfer portal.
right.
Um, the young
Well,
man we brought in from Washington, he's probably going to take one of the safety spot.
Michelle. Oh, yeah.
People, we heard people were had great reviews about the young man that we got from Vandy last year.
Taylor's
So
kid.
yeah, no, not Taylor's kid, but the
Oh,
other
he's
guy
gonna
from
start.
Uh,
Vandy.
Taylor's kid gonna start. Don't you worry.
If he starts as a walk on, we got some. But getting back to it though, we very well could be you know in that same position. You know what I mean? So,
Oh,
um, but with that being said, I mean, like I say, recruiting is something that we can, people can talk about all day. People hindsight, oh, how did we let Zay Flowers leave? How did we let Michael Penix leave? And all these
Yeah.
things. And it gets comical to me because it's like you completely forget about the guys that we did get.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So I can't remember what year Zay Flowers came out, but I'm sure people were in love with some receivers that were higher rated than Zay Flowers was. So I mean, it's always the case. But we'll close this subject out, so we'll move on to the other one. Um, it was some things on my Cam Ward video that I didn't kind of go over, and Cuban, you'll like this because there was a narrative that I want to address, and I'll start addressing the narrative from the beginning. The narrative of Cam Ward didn't have any talent around him. So I said, okay, well that's cool. So that's cool. All right, that's your stance. Let's put some context to that. Aside from Oregon and USC, where's all this talent that's residing in the Pac-12?
not
So
on defense.
so in reality, so in reality, Washington State on a weekly basis, with the exception of playing Oregon, they were playing teams that had the same amount of talent as they had. So
Yeah.
Cam Ward is running around against athletes that are just as talented as the athletes that he already has on his team. They're not more talented.
One second,
Um,
Shaq. Can you drop the link? Because there's a couple people that want to get in. Can you drop the link to get in?
yeah, the link. Yeah, let me see. Oh, my bad.
Murder She Wrote must have went off. E Brown wants to get on.
Yeah, E
Uh
Brown,
oh.
QB want to get on.
Oh,
So I'm
yeah.
like, just drop the link, man. Because everybody, there's like
It
two
was
people
it
want to
was
get it.
it was pinned at the top of the chat, I believe.
Yeah,
Eat,
I guess some
eat
people
fry.
want to scroll back up, but and then someone brought up and said, "Oh well, he." And then we go back to the air raid offense, right? What was the knock about the air raid offense? The reads are simple. The guys are not having to go through reads. They're
Right.
not having to read any type of defense and all this stuff like this. I said,
Mm,
okay, well, if that's the case, then why is Cam Ward exponentially better than Tyler Van Dyke when he's playing in the offense that didn't require him to do anything more than what Tyler Van Dyke did? Because when Josh Gaddis was here, and it was said that Josh Gaddis is not running a simple offense, and Tyler Van Dyke struggled in that system, it was like, okay, we need to get the offense back in here that Tyler can run.
mm.
So how do we know that Cam Ward can read zone defenses? So somebody said that, well, Washington
They coming after you, Shad. They're trying to shut you up. And they
Shastradamus.
did. They did. They shut Shad up. Holy crap.
Better stop telling the truth like that.
You,
Shan.
Can't hear
we,
you,
we
Shad.
can't we can't
Shad, we
hear you.
can't hear you.
They don't want him to be great. They don't want him to have one of the greatest football talk shows.
I know. Trying to keep him down.
Jordan,
That's what
in the meanwhile, go ahead. What do you got, Jordan?
well, I mean, talking about I'm not going to even get started on the establishment that tries to keep us down on this Miami talk. But what I get on my Cam Ward thing is okay, he had the fumbles. He's been sacked. Okay. I did not go through and watch every friggin' highlight or every game or whatever. Uh, I don't know. I don't know if his offensive line just didn't protect or was the defensive coverage in the secondary that good against Washington State's receivers where, you know, he had to move. I mean, I don't know what the circumstances were, but that fumbling the ball 30 times. That was for a season, right?
Was I think it was what 14, 17, and one season.
Yeah, but I mean that it still kind of throws a red flag in my mind. You
Yeah,
know, I understand a quarterback's going to get sacked and probably he may drop the ball. That's just the nature of the beast. You know, I don't know,
two
but it
hands.
does kind of makes me wonder. What? Uh-oh.
Oh, great! This is our show. Let's do this.
Yeah,
Let's
No,
finally.
do this.
All right. The inmates are
Got
running
him
the
out of here.
system.
We could talk
uh,
so bad about Shad.
Shad. No, they didn't kick off Shad Stradamus. No.
Okay, I'm back. I'm back.
All right. Okay.
Oh
Go
man, we
ahead,
were about
Chad.
to party here. We thought you were going, Shad. We were gonna throw a
Yeah, we
party.
were
Oh,
we were
Yeah,
about to have an uprising in the yard.
yeah,
uh,
but let me finish. But yeah,
We'll let
so
you finish, but somebody don't want you to finish.
yeah, so so yeah, if these are the knocks of an air raid quarterback, then we have to sit up. We have to really say, okay, well, is Cam Ward going to be able to do what does it actually look like? You know what I mean? So, um, like I said, Washington had the 117th ranked pass defense. They had the 96th ranked defense overall. The Pac-12 for the past 2 years has had the least amount of players drafted. So it's
yeah,
not a lot. It's not a lot of talent over there. So he's playing. He's played against guys that are on the same level. So that's not being talked about. Cam Ward is going to have to step up a level in football again. He has 1 year to do it, and nobody,
Hold on.
nobody.
ACC is better than Pac-12.
Yes, it's better than the Pac-12.
mm,
How? Please
They are
explain.
they are now.
Oh, now, but before, how?
well, they
Please
only
explain how the
I'm
Pac-12.
basing
How
it.
the,
I'm basing it on the NFL draft. I'm basing it on the NFL draft. The Pac-12 has the worst, the absolute worst
no, we're talking
bowl
about
game
last year.
record.
We're talking about the past the year that we just finished. Pac-12
Okay,
had damn near two teams in the playoffs.
okay. Well, Cuban. That doesn't change. That doesn't change the fact. That doesn't change the fact that Washington had the 96th ranked defense.
right.
They don't change. They don't change that they had the
Okay,
96th
my
ranked.
bad.
And
Sorry.
people looked at that game and said, "Oh, look how he performed against Washington. Washington didn't have a good defense."
When I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong. I'm wrong. My bad.
So, and then the other
Wow.
question is, can Cam Ward do the same? Now, again, I know TVD is out of favor with a lot of people in the fan base, but the question is, will TVD? I mean, will Cam Ward be able to do all of the good things that TVD could do? TVD could make every throw. So some of the things that TVD was asked to do with Cam Ward be able to do those things. So all right, so we got more people in the queue. E Brown is in here.
E
Oh,
Here we
Brown.
go.
snap.
Oh,
Let's
all
go.
snap.
I'm ready.
E Brown.
Got E Brown in the building.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, E Brown.
Salutation.
E. Brown.
Good luck.
Salutation.
My man Cuban King.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
Shad has moved on to a different topic, so I'm gonna stay in line with the topic. So
No, sure. Let me him battle. Let me
I mean,
battle.
E Brown, what topic do you want to discuss? You know,
Right.
no, I really wanted to comment on the Mario Cristobal versus
Man.
recruiting and coaching and some of the other things you guys were talking about. Great conversation, by the way. Great conversation. But
um,
but Cuban King, go ahead, Shad. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, what I was gonna say is that I wasn't trying to turn this into a Mario thing in terms of that. We were just kind of talking about
Yeah,
recruiting.
let him cook, Shad.
But
Let him cook,
but
Shad.
but 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 me but we cool in South Coast. We'll head back to the beach.
I'm gonna take a vacation.
You got it, E Brown.
Go ahead, E Brown. Go ahead, cook, E Brown.
It's your
Well,
word.
I wanted to say this. I'm going to preface my statement by saying this first. I don't think Mario is a great coach. I don't think he's a good coach. I think he's average. What he excels in is recruiting and building a program. We can all agree that in order to have a great program, you got to build the program through recruiting and now through the transfer portal. I think Mario has proven that he's able to do that. Now, if you want to look um, at his historical value, the same way he's recruited and built, and he's building the Miami program, he did that in his 3 to 4 years there at Oregon. So that's why you see the current coach there at Oregon still having a little success, because the man left the school with some phenomenal players. I think that what you're seeing now is Mario got here to Miami and he saw that the cupboard was bare. So he's
Mm.
trying to build the program through recruiting and going through the transfer portal, and that comes from a competitive standpoint, because some of those guys, like you mentioned, Moss and the other kid Kelly, those guys are part of the building process where they will come in and make the competition within the program even more tougher. I mean, we essentially we've seen where Moss, when he came onto the program about 2 years ago, we were all excited about it, because from that point forward, we hadn't seen anybody who had gotten that so-called 5-star, 4-star rating who wanted to come to the University of Miami to play football. So we're all excited about it. But the talent that has followed Moss has outclassed him, not only because of his size, but talent from a talent base as well. Najee Kelly. Najee Kelly, he could be a great player, a good player for us, but he's injury prone. He's always hurt. And that's why the man is constantly recruiting defensive tackles, defensive linemen, is because we have to build that competition. We have to bring in talent. We have to see where that talent goes. Now, recruiting is his strong point, but coaching is something that he needs to work on. Coaching is something he needs to work on. And the problem we've had with the University of Miami in the last 15 to 20 years is that we would bring in the talent, but coaching and developing that talent to perform on the field, it didn't happen. We saw the guys that came into our program going to the NFL and excel, and we would go, why the hell didn't he play like that when he was with the University of Miami? That's because they were not being developed. So that's the problem we have right now, is that coaching and developing the talent is what we're lacking. Recruiting, and man, we're excelling. We're excelling with the recruiting and getting the talent in here. Man, we got to coach these guys and we got to develop them. And we got to start relying on 3 on-star or whatever. They're talking about 4 and 5 stars. And we got to do the eye test ourselves. Can these guys be dogs on the field? Can they perform when we need to have them to perform? Are they willing to come in and be the top dog? That's what I look for. That's what I look for. So, Cuban King, I'm gonna get off my soapbox, Cuban King.
Yeah, Shad, let me rebut him right quick. All right, and I'm gonna ask you 3 questions, Mr. E. Brown. You said recruiting is at its peak. It's amazing right now, right?
Yes, sir.
If recruiting is at its peak, why in year 3 we have 3 defensive recruits from Mario that are starting on his defense?
Uh, I'm sorry. Say that again.
If recruiting is at its peak, it's at its best as ever can, right?
Uh-huh.
Why in year 3 there's only 3 Mario recruits starting on defense?
Okay. Uh, uh, again, Cuban King. That's part of the rebuilding process. I
Rebuilds could have
mean,
been year 1, not year 3.
I mean, I don't think that in year one of the recruiting process and the coaching process to have the players to perform on the field, I don't think you're going to find that gem in that group. We've seen a couple of gems so far. We know Bain. We know that Bain is probably a unique. He's probably like that diamond in the rough, man. He's there.
Right.
He's there. He's that diamond in the rough. We haven't seen the diamond in the rough existing on the team thus far from the offensive side of the ball or from the defensive linebacker, from the linebackers into the defensive backs. We have to bring in the talent. We have to keep bringing the talent in, keep bringing it in order to find those players who we could fine tune and put them on the field, and those players who are going to will
I
have the will to
understand
want
you,
to win.
but this is year three, and I think there's 3 to 4 players on offense that are going to start, and 3 players on defense are going to start for Mario. For me, that is not, and you mentioned something about, when Mario took over, it was the cupboard was bare, right? That's what you said. It was we had a bad roster, correct? That's what you said, Brown.
Yeah, I said that. I
Okay.
said that because of not only that, because we didn't have the speed at wide receiver.
Whoa, whoa,
We
hold on,
didn't
hold
have.
on. I'm gonna
Okay,
stop
go
you.
ahead. Go ahead. I'm
I'm
sorry.
gonna
Go ahead.
stop right there.
Go ahead.
2022, Miami Hurricanes were predicted to win the ACC Coastal, right? And we did not win the ACC Coastal. We were predicted in the preseason to win the ACC Coastal. Number two, you know who was on that staff, on that team? Stevenson, NFL. Ivy, NFL. Taylor, NFL. Um, Williams, NFL. Cam, NFL. This cover was not bare. We had the
You
worst. We had the worst coaching staff ever developed, ever created at Miami. This
you you
cover
you
was not bare. We had speed in Rooster. We had speed in Brinson. We had speed all over the Mallory runs a 10-6. He was a track star. So that whole narrative that this cupboard was bare has to stop. What
what
happened was the scheme did not fit what Mario wanted. It was like going from wishbone to running a run and shoot offense. That's what happened. When people say the cupboard was bare, that's the biggest BS because we're predicted to win the Coastal when Mario took over. I guess everybody keeps forgetting that, what I'm saying, when Mario took over, oh, we're going to win the Coastal. This is easy. We got an easy schedule, like we're saying right now. We're going to win the Coastal. We're going to win. The Coastal has Duke, Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, Virginia, Pitt, UNC. It's not a tough schedule, and we managed to come in last place. I'm tired of hearing we had a weak roster when we were predicted to win the Coastal, and we had NFL players on the roster. We have to stop that. What we have to put it on is the coaching. The coaching at Miami has been horrible since Butch Davis. And as you see with if you don't have NFL coaches on your roster, you could have you could have a Super Bowl winning team on your roster, but if you cannot coach them up, it does not matter what type of recruits, what type of transfers you bring in. If you don't have good coaches, it does not matter. Sorry,
touche
Ebron.
touche
Go ahead.
touche Cuban King. Great point. I concede that. The statement about the cupboard was bare. That was a horrible statement by me. That was a horrible statement. The thing is that you proved my point. We were lacking with coaching and development of those players. That's why we didn't see the performance on the field. You proved my point by your argument just now. You brought to light exactly what I said earlier: is that he was recruiting, but he's average at best with coaching. And in the past, the University of Miami for the last 15 to 20 years, our coaching and developing players sucks. And you just proved my point. Excellent point by you. I gotta shut up after that.
I mean, we'll this this is one of those. I mean, this is one of those topics. I mean, I think again, similar to the other topic that you and Cool were having. I think again, I think everyone is kind of on the along the same lines of thinking. Now, I agree with Cuban. I don't like people stating that the players that were here when Mario got here were bad. I don't believe that. I don't believe I like I told someone in the comment section, they said the team was soft. I said I don't think a team that finishes the season 5-1 is soft. They beat two ranked teams at the end. The redshirt freshman quarterback and Tyler Van Dyke. But again, it just goes back down to and again, I give like I don't give Mario like a whole lot of praise, but I will give him this. He did at the conclusion of last season, he did say, and I'm paraphrasing, there were some things that we tried to do at Oregon. I mean, there were some things that we did at Oregon and some things that we did at Alabama that we tried to do here, and it didn't work. So I will at least concede that he did acknowledge that particular aspect of it. But this particular discussion, it
I love it. This is big boy, big girl conference. Big boy, big and
it's
respectful conversation.
it's
This is what
driven
makes this great. You know what I'm saying? And I
it's
respect this, Ebron. Appreciate it.
yeah it's driven a huge wedge because if you say something like that, it's along the lines of okay, well you like Manny and Cuban. I think me and you share the same sentiment. I think E Brown share the same sentiment. I think South Coast share the same sentiment. We are fans of the team,
Yep.
not fans of the coach. We're fans of the
Right,
team.
right, 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 right.
So at the end of the day, if the team is not doing well, we're gonna say something. I mean, we have no choice but to be patient. I see brother Keyron Campbell is in here. We are Kyron. We have no choice but to be patient. None of us on this panel,
Yep.
none of us in this comment section have the ability to hire or fire anybody. But it doesn't mean that we have to walk lockstep and barrel. Because I think, at least for me, I can't speak for Cuban, I can't speak for Ebron, I can't speak for South Coast. I think for me, I would look at this maybe the way that some other people look at it. Had Mark Rick not came in here and did what he did, I would look at it differently.
Good point. That was a
But
good
seeing,
point there, Shad.
but seeing that Mark Rick came in here with the roster of guys that some people stated that there was a bunch of guys that shouldn't have gotten Miami Hurricane scholarships, and what they
Right.
were able to do, and really that build really started in 2014 when Al Golden made the decision to start Brad Collier. You go, where did we go that year? 7-6 or 6-7?
76, 9-4,
Yeah,
10-3, I think, or 11-3, whatever it
yeah.
was.
So we go 7-6. No, we didn't go 9-4. We went 8-4.
Well, no, I'm saying when Rick took over, it was 9-4. When Rick took over, it was
Yeah,
nine
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
four.
So that 4-year build started at 7-6, and we're 8-4. Al Golden gets fired. We finish the year strong, 8-5. Then we go 9-4. Then we go 10-3. So that type of build, but I think that's what we all were expecting, right? But like I said, this is a discussion that can go on and on. I mean, there will be some people that will defend Mario, and that's their priority. That's the prerogative. Like I said, I'm not gonna argue with you about any of this particular stuff because at the end of the day, all that matters is on field success. And once the on field success comes, the type of statements that me, Cuban, E Brown, and South Coast may be making that may not be favorable to the fan base, we will turn around and we will say, okay, this is what we were looking for, right? But the problem is gonna come in is gonna say, instead of accepting that we're getting what we want, those same individuals are going to start turning around and saying and trying to beat their chest and say, see, we
Told
told
you
you.
so. I told you so.
It's nothing
Well,
that you're telling me because I told you what my expectation was to begin with. My expectation is to win this amount of games and for the University of Miami to get back to where we all want it to be. So you're
and the fun,
beating, yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt, sir. The funny part is next year they're putting high expectations on Mario, and it's going to be funny. I'm going to defend Mario next year because I'm like, I don't expect this team to win 10 games, and there's people saying 10 wins or bust, and I'm like, no, it should really be 8 wins or bust, right?
Eight or
And it's
nine. Eight
like,
or nine.
yeah, 8 or 9, and it's like,
But it's
and the expectations through even through the Kane media groupies is like, hey, you need to simmer down on that expectations because this is a new roster, and they have to get this vibe, and it's like if we win 8 or 9 games, the media and the people are going to kill him. It's like, no, this is the route that it needs to go because he didn't start this process year one. this is really going to be year one of Mario. I hope everybody understands that. And
Yeah,
we now have to be patient with Mario because this is the true year one. And it's not even his year one because he hasn't gotten his quarterback in. His real year one is when he gets his quarterback in to play. Right. And it's like we're still playing around here and there. So it's like he's playing the smart game, but it's for me, QB's asking 8 wins is it's acceptable because this roster is not ready to win 10 games. This is a very it's not a difficult schedule, but it's a difficult schedule for the players and the staff that we have. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, John. You were gonna go next.
Okay.
No, no,
yeah. No, but like I said, it goes back to kind of like I said, we're segueing back into the Cam Ward situation, and like I said, I'm just gonna ask all y'all this question. Um, can Cam Ward do all of the things, all of the good things that TVD did? Can he do all of those things?
Can I go first?
Yeah, you can go first, cool.
Alrighty, guys. I think he can do that and more. I think I gotta be honest. I kind of think that I know some of us are not some of us, and I'm just saying I preface that because some of us may not be um you may not have liked some of the things that Jakari revealed, maybe from a discretionary standpoint and maybe from a leadership standpoint. But I think for the most part that was the I think that was the most I, I think that was the most profound part about it is that he was raw and real about what he was saying. And I think one of the things that he did reveal is that okay, Tyler Van Dyke, man, you held the team hostage by threatening to go to Alabama. He did reveal that. So I don't know. And I'm not going to say, I'm not saying I'm a conspiracy theorist, or could this be a theorem that he threw this season to make an exit? You never know. Because you have to wonder, bro. Nobody gets, how do you get instantly bad after a 4 game streak where you weren't necessarily, you were fantastic in one game, let me say that, but you were, maybe a little better than average the other three, but then you just totally go south, nearly totally do a 180 after one bye week. It's just very mysterious to me. And I think what is going to have to happen, what they're going to have to do with Cam Ward is there I think they have to how do you say, bring him down a bit to where to get him to understand that you have a much better offensive line to where you don't have to do too much. I think that's gonna be the thing, is getting him to not shoot himself in the foot by trying to do too much and trusting the players that's around him. I think that's the buy-in for Cam Ward.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask you this. I'm gonna ask you this, cool. Um, air raid offense. The knocks on it. The quarterbacks are not asked to scan the field, not asked to read any of those particular different things like that. Um, do you think that that's going to? Do you feel like it could be a situation where, like, when Tyler Van Dyke couldn't read the zone defenses, do you see a situation where Cam Ward could have trouble reading zone defenses as well?
I don't think, because I don't even call this a true air raid.
No, but I'm just speaking about just the understanding the zone defense
His mechanics, right?
because
Uh,
because because I'm true story, and I'm gonna get to the rest of y'all. True story. Uh, when I was playing JUCO football, right? We had a quarterback. He was a short guy, right? And
hmm
the majority of his big plays were made because he was scrambling around, and we would have
Right.
a receiver maybe leak out behind coverage.
hmm
Right?
Yeah.
He never actually understood how to play in the pocket. And so
hmm
what I see from some people that cover the team is like, okay, well, go look at this particular highlight right here. You'll see Cam Ward do this. But I'm like, okay, well, this is one highlight.
Right.
What does the rest of the game look like?
The game film.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah. Stop. What you got something else, cool?
No, no, I thought you had a question.
Oh no, no. I was just no. Yeah, my question was just asking about. Do you feel like he could have trouble maybe reading some zone defenses just because of the offense that he's played in the past 2 years?
I mean, he possibly could, but I think that that's what spring is for him to. I think for the most part, we can say this. I think that that is up to the coaches to be able to identify that and strengthen his strengths. You get what I mean? They have to be able to identify that and coach him up on that. And Coach Hayes said something very important too was is that I think that what would be beneficial is if he's putting together the game plan as well as he's putting together the plays with the offensive coordinator that they're collaborating. So therefore,
Yeah.
Dawson should be able to identify these things and he can relay this to him and then he can take that and then execute from that point on. He could possibly, but this is what spring is for him to work these kinks out.
Okay. All right. South Coast.
Well, I mean, Cam's a one and done. You know, I don't. It's like the cliche says, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Oh, but all I can say is Cam Moore damn well better do something. He better be able to read defenses. He better be out there and be successful for the money that they spent on him. Because if Cam Ward goes south and this Cam Ward project doesn't succeed, wow, imagine. But and I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not an anti Cam Ward guy. I just hope that the coaching staff have a plan. I hope that they if they see something in Cam, great. You know, I hope it works for the benefit of the team. You know, and see the beauty about the with Cam coming. I mean, he has such a supporting staff on the field with him: running backs, receivers, offensive line. Now,
Right. Right.
are they going to be utilized? Is are we going to see a tight end catch more than one pass in a
True.
game?
Right.
Are we going to utilize the running game to open up the passing game, to open up the running game, and then possibly hit the tight end coming across the middle? I don't know. I don't know. Oh, but in a way, I don't want to say I feel bad for Cam, but there's a lot of pressure on that young man's shoulders, dude. You know, he's talking about he wanted to go to the NFL. He played his little game, got all the free food and club passes and stuff. And I don't blame him. If I was 18 or whatever, or 21, or what, I'd be doing the same thing. But, you know, you talked all this noise, you did all this stuff. Now you want to come to Miami. So, man, I hope you got the goods. And hopefully, like to what Cool said, I do hope the coaching staff helps any deficiencies he may have.
Yeah. Uh,
My
Cuban.
thing is, yeah, my thing is, are we going to be the Ravens? Meaning, regular season Ravens let Lamar cook, but the Ravens against the Chiefs, they put them in the box where it's like you could only pass the ball, and it's no running lanes, no running anything. So I think so. I don't think TV. It's going to be difficult to say. I don't think. Again, this is something that I said before. Scheme changes, right? You recruit a spread QB in TVD. You recruit a air raid QB in Cam. But are we going to run a Michigan offense? So this is. I know the question you're asking, Shad, but I don't know what this offense is. Right? Are we gonna everybody hates saying this. I don't think we have a good offensive line. I don't think Mirabal's a good offensive line coach because we do max protect every damn play, right? So it's like, are we gonna max protect and hey, student body left, student body right. I don't know that, right? I don't know, and this is something that Cool said is like we have to find out what this offense is running in the spring, right? If we're running this same offense where you're restricted, and you have to go in the huddle. And that's another thing is like if we go in the huddle, I don't see this is going to be a different offense. I think it's going to be the same offense. If I see we do no huddle or just slow pace, I'm like, okay, this is a different offense, and I think Cam will succeed. But this is really up to what the scheme is. I don't know what the scheme is going to be. The rumor is from these the YouTube and Twitter professionals is Mari's giving Dawson the keys, and we're going to open up the offense. So I don't know what this offense is going to be, right? So
It's the identity crisis.
it's the identity crisis, right? So, but if you're gonna if Shad, if you're putting me in a box and you're telling me we're running the exact same offense as we did last year,
We
I
are.
think we'll get the same results. It's not going to be very different, right? It's going to be the same, and you have to depend on the defense to be dominant. And I don't think we have a dominant defense, but that's here nor there. But your question is I think it's gonna if we run the same exact offense as we did last year,
We are.
it's going to be equal or probably 5% better than TVD.
Yeah. E Brown.
Okay, I mean, you guys brought us some interesting points, but I gotta. If you would allow me to, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back in time a little bit.
Okay.
Cam
Back in
Ward.
the days.
Cam Ward reminds me of. I've never seen many of the young man's games, but he reminds me of a young Charlie Ward.
Ooh.
If you remember Charlie Ward in his
Wait,
first
hold,
year,
hold up. Hold up. I think
go ahead.
Charlie Ward could dunk too, Shad.
Yeah.
Oh, of course he could. Of course. Yeah.
My
I'm sorry.
quarterback could duck.
Of course.
Go ahead, E. Brown. My apologies.
Great point there, South Coast. Great point. But Charlie Ward had issues his first year with when he took over at Florida State. Now, I don't know Cam's dimensions, but he needs to follow those guys who have a similar game to his. That's Charlie Ward, Doug Flutie, and Russell Wilson.
Hold on for a second, E Brown. Cam Ward is 6'3".
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
he's like
Doug
six
Flutie
three,
was like
6'2".
3 foot from
No, no,
Munchkinville.
no, no, no. I'm not talking about in size and dimension. I'm
Oh,
talking
you talking
about
about
in
the game?
game,
Talking about
in the
in
Okay.
game.
game, the way they play, the way they run and play. What he has to do because we're only going to have like South Coast said we're only going to have him for 1 year. So we've ran out of time. So we don't have time to play around. So what he needs to do is in the offense that they have for him, he's going to have to run, he's going to have to move, and he's going to have to find the open player that he can get to the football. And then once his game is developed from that standpoint, then he will dictate what defenses are shown him instead of the defenses dictating to him, hey, you need to look at us and read what we're doing. If he starts moving, finding open players, passing the ball to open players, kind of going off the script a little bit like Russell Wilson would do, like Charlie Ward used to do, and then he would then have the opportunity to start dictating what everybody else will have to do from a defensive standpoint. Because I don't think that we have enough time to figure out whether he's an air raid, whether he's a conventional offensive quarterback. We need to just go based on what we know about him, and that's his ability to run the football, move around, and pass it. I think he has all those attributes. So we need to utilize those things in those 12 games that we're going to have with the young man. We need to utilize those things, and it's in order for us to win any football games. So that's my take on the Cam Ward thing. But somebody mentioned earlier about Tyler TVD. He lost confidence in the beginning. He won like the first 4 games. He played real confident, and then after that, he looked like he just took a dump. I
Right.
mean, the young man, he was what? He's 20, 21 years of age. He's a young man, and we all know that if
Bro.
you belittle a young person's mind enough, their confidence level is going to go out the window. Unless they have the mentality of a Michael Jordan or a Larry Bird or a Kobe Bryant, where they didn't give a crap what you said about them, and they were just strong-willed and they would just do whatever the heck they wanted. Whatever you said about them, that would just inspire them. TBD he wasn't that type of a player. That's why his game went into the dump. When everybody was all over him, he just didn't have that Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and Larry Bird type of mentality where he would just say, "Hey, I don't give a crap what you say about me. I'm going to score 60 on you." He
But
just didn't
Ebron,
have it.
I hear you, but Ebron, that's where good coaching comes in. If you're a good coach, you're going to develop a system where he doesn't have to think and doesn't have to go through the motions of thinking, right? When if you see him breaking down, why are you going to put him in a huddle when he's nervous, he can't speak, and it's like, hey, Tyler, get the play out, and he's like, but, and it's like you're getting this non-confident player, and you're putting him in a huddle with
Yeah.
a group of players, pretty much saying, hey, spit this play out, and let's be productive, right?
But that,
When
but
you
that's
have
the,
good
but that's,
coaching, you adjust to your players. Your players don't adjust to you.
but that's
You
what we're
know,
talking about. We don't have good coaching right now. I'm sorry to say that.
Oh.
We just don't have. We have average coaching at best right now. That's my opinion. We don't have right right now out there right now. There's only two people who I think have possess the two attributes that you need as a coach. That is recruiting and coaching and developing. There was only two that I've seen thus far, and one just retired, and that was Nick Saban. The other one that's out there, but I don't think nobody wants to touch it with a 50-foot pole right now. That's Urban Meyer. If you brought Urban Meyer in here, that guy can recruit. Not only can he recruit, but he'll coach and he'll develop that football team.
And he'll
So
send
E
it to
Brown.
sanctions.
E
Screw.
Brown,
I'm
you
sorry.
sound
I
so
disagree.
19.
Urban, no.
He sounds so 2010.
Hey,
he's gonna come with some baggage now, but
but
that guy can build a football team, and he can coach, and he can develop players. So
but
you gotta give him that.
Brian, to give it to kind of piggyback off of something that you just said, and this was my biggest question mark. And I said it. I said this on Coach Hayes' show. I've said this on my show. I said the reason that I felt like maybe Cam Ward wasn't an ideal fit here at Miami is for the exact reason what you said about him going off script. I don't think this is an offense that is built or can thrive with someone going off script, because it kind of goes into the other video that I made this week about Xavier Restrepo is a number one wide receiver.
Good
So
video, by the way.
with appreciate it.
It was.
With Xavier Restrepo being the number one wide receiver in his offense and doing the option routes and all of the other things that he does to get other players open, I don't think it benefits Cam Ward to go off script. It's not going to work if he goes off script. I understand what you're saying, but he's going to have to be he's going to have to play within the system
Yeah.
of the offense that we're playing, because if he doesn't, then I don't think it's gonna look that good. I don't, and the little birdies that speak, Mario will take the ball out your hands.
What can I wager you this, Shad? Shastradamus.
So you'll be handing the ball off. We'll take the ball out your hands, son.
I I
And I
I, I kind of agree with what you're saying, but what I'm gonna say is like after the first 3 games, and again, this is my opinion. The first 3 games of this coming year would dictate and tell where we will be so far as the identity of our offensive team. Because
Maybe.
I
Xavier
think that's first.
Restrepo, Xavier Restrepo is going to be his saving grace when he does go off script. That's going to be his saving grace. He's going to need Xavier. But those other young receivers that we have, they're going to be more system oriented to where I need to get to this point and you need to throw me the ball to this point. And that's what those first 3 games are going to bring about and show us. Because if we're not winning those first 3 games, then he's going to have to go off script in order for us to win. That's the only thing I'm saying.
Could I respond real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say this. Ideally, he shouldn't have to if they set up the play action pass because you got a stable of running backs. He did not have that at his disposal. If we're smart, we will keep a balance or we'll try to be as balanced as we can, and we will do a running back by committee. That is when we were at our best. So run those horses, bro. So you don't have to go off script so much unless there's just a breakdown. Only if you only have to improvise if necessary. If ideally we're running the ball. I'm saying, and that's it.
So workforce, I had a question. So what was the sell to bring Cam to Miami?
Right.
I mean, what was the pitch to get him to come here? Because if
It
Cam is
has to
not
be a
coming
good.
here to run a student body left, student body right type of offense, right? So what was sold to him?
Yeah. They gotta
I
adjust.
think I think it was the offensive coordinator. I think it was the offensive coordinator who really wanted that type of quarterback in order to run his offense. That's what I think. I think he wanted
Yeah,
he wanted to have somebody with experience. He wanted to have somebody who's going to show confidence, and with that experience and confidence being displayed, it'll rub off on the other players on the offensive side of the ball. That's what I think. I think that's what he wanted, and
But E
that's
Brown, I guess you can answer this question because this is something myself, South Coast, and Shad. What is the offense? We don't. What is Dawson's offense?
shoot,
Because
I got that question too.
okay,
that.
go ahead.
Yeah, I now that's a great question. That's a
Q, we
great
got
question because all
Q,
year
we
last year I was wondering, okay, what are we doing? And then Cool brought up a good point that when we ran the football, we our offense looked pretty good. When we ran the football, and we stuck with it, we looked pretty good. But when we started to when we got behind and when we were in a state of panic, so to speak, that's when we looked all discombobulated.
Hold up,
It just
hold
looked.
up, hold up. Here's what I call the BS. What about the Texas A&M game? We were behind the Texas A&M game, and we passed to win the game. So we didn't look discombobulated at Texas A&M.
I don't think the reason that we got behind in the Texas A&M game was due to the play of the quarterback. We
no.
got behind in the Texas A&M game because
There's some
we
tennis.
made a couple of bad decisions with fielding the ball and so on and so forth, and then
True.
it caught
Well,
up with us.
yeah, but my question is, what got us back in that game? That was the passing game, right? It wasn't the
I,
running game.
I think Tyler's confidence. I think Tyler's confidence after we scored that first touchdown in the Texas A&M game. You kind of saw the passion in him. He was talking to players. He was kind of upbeat on the sideline. His confidence level was getting up there, and he was being patted on the back because when he those first after Texas A&M took that lead, and Miami came back and the kid who left and made the long run scored that touchdown. Everybody was upbeat, and we were cheering him on. His confidence level was high, and that led to the comeback and then the eventual win, I think, because we didn't lose the game or we didn't get behind because he was throwing interceptions and he was making bad plays. Because whenever Tyler would throw an interception or make a bad play, man, he would come off the field with one shoulder slump, and then he'd do it again, the second shoulder slump, and then we were lost. It was lost after that. It was lost.
Yeah. Let me ask Cool a question. I'm gonna get QB involved in this conversation. Cool to kind of piggyback off of what you were saying. Um, Cam Ward, this is the money year. This is his last year.
Yeah.
So while, like you said, under the circumstances and the situation that we're going to present him from an offensive line perspective and from a skill position perspective, what's stopping him from not going into business for himself when he understands that if I play into this particular system right here, that's not going to get me drafted to where I want to get drafted at. So what prevents him from wanting to go into business for himself?
I don't know what would prevent him, but I will say this from what I've heard, the whispers, and we hear all kinds of whispers on the YouTube space and things of that nature, was that he did that there were talks that he did want to play a more under the center type style, even whether it's got to be a I back or whatever it may be. Um, that was more than likely the offense that he was going to see when he was going to the NFL. That's what I heard, that they were tailoring it to, and that he wanted to be under center more. He may, but I would say this, what would play to that strength is what he wouldn't have to lose, right? Would be the fact that it would take more burden off of him if you allow your run to set up the play action pass. You don't have to throw it 40 plus times a game to be effective. So you have less margin for error,
Yeah,
to me,
yeah.
But I,
ideally.
but I say this cool. But I say this. Your point could be well taken. But why didn't he choose to go to Ohio State where he would have the opportunity to do that?
Well,
He could have gone to Ohio State and had that offense you're talking about, the ability to run the football and the ability to pass the ball in a good offense. But he chose the University of Miami. He chose the University of Miami for something other than what you're talking about. It could be part of the equation, but I think
right.
he chose the University of Miami for something other than what you're talking
I,
No, but he got the cheese, Jack.
I think he wanted Ohio State from the way things, from what I see from other sources that I was listening to that are not Kane related. He may have wanted Ohio State, but Ohio State didn't want him. So, and I think a lot
That's
of people saw that maybe his value wasn't what he thought his value was, or what the value that he had for himself. With that being said, QB, what's going on? You have the answer to the question that me, Cuban, and South Coast have. What type of offense do we have?
Wait and see.
Ah, man, I thought you were gonna give us the ground rating.
that's yeah.
Come on,
Uh,
man.
I I think I think Cam Ward can throw 3,000 yards in this offense. I don't think he's going to throw 4,000 yards and win a Heisman. But my question with the offense is going to be, what happens when something goes bad? Because that's when the things change. Like, what happens when he throws the first pick or he has a fumble? How is the coaching staff going to react to that? Because when things like that happen, we kind of start getting real conservative. And I think that hinders the offense.
Right.
You know, QB, I'm glad you brought that up because, and I think who was it? I think it may have been it wasn't Workforce. Or maybe it was. It was someone in here that was talking about the offensive line that Cam Ward didn't have. And when you brought up the fumble aspect, and I asked this question on my video that I did, I said if the lack of talent around him was the reason that he was fumbling the football, why don't the other quarterbacks that have the same situation or same setups that he had, why didn't they fumble the ball 14 times? I went and looked at his predecessor, the guy that was the quarterback before he got there. Same offense, because I think Washington State, I think it's in the contract. You have to run the air raid. It doesn't matter what you are. We're running air raid here. But his predecessor, similar offensive line, similar wide receivers, similar running backs, all that stuff, he didn't fumble the ball 14 times. And like I said, if we have a situation like this past year where all of our home games, there's some type of overcast or something like that, and if the rumor is true that he does have smaller hands, that is going to present an interesting situation. You know what I mean? So, but like I said, kind of going back to what Cool said, in terms of it, and like Rocky is saying, which Rocky, I see what you're saying, but I'm trying to figure out how does Shannon Dawson know how to run a pro style offense and he's never coordinated one before. Maybe South Coast can answer that question because he has the sources. So South Coast, what did your sources say about Shannon Dawson being able to take the ball out of Xavier Restrepo's hands and feeding it to the four-headed monster that we have?
Ha ha ha.
I can't say. Nah. It's just gonna have to be again. They wanted Cam. It just depends on they're gonna need somebody's got to change their discipline, or maybe last year was just Mario told Dawson just don't screw it up. Let's take it easy. I don't know. I don't know what their end game was, but you do bring up a good point though. You know, Dawson is this. We're gonna go vertical. I think I heard that talked about. We're going vertical, you know, but we'll see. We'll
Mm,
see.
mm.
We didn't have the team didn't have the wide receivers to take on a vertical game. Our wide receiver core last year was 15 yards or less. That's it.
Well, Brian, that's
15 yards or less.
I have to disagree. I think we have the talent at wide receiver last year to do whatever.
Well,
I
well,
I
I don't
mean,
hold
think
on, hold on, hold on. We let the vertical threats go to SMU. The guys that didn't have talent, those were the vertical threats that we did not want to use out here. So we had the talent, we just kicked them out. It's just we're trying to run a Michigan offense, and that's what it's gonna look like. So Ebron, you mentioned that we're faster now. There's not one player on this team that's name me the fastest player on this team.
well, the fastest player on the team, they pretty much sat the sideline all last year. Those young guys or your speed burners, they were all on the sideline last year. I
Keyshawn
mean,
Smith was fast.
Yeah.
Romelo Benson is
Rashard,
fast.
Rashard
Rashard,
Smith,
Ray,
Rashard
Chris
Smith.
Johnson.
Nathaniel, I would say right now,
Yeah,
you talking about Nathaniel Joseph is fast. Chris Johnson, and of
Johnson.
course, the young Wheatley Humphrey
yeah.
right now.
But we're not putting. This is something that Shad had in his show before. We are recruiting these fast players, and we don't have a fast type player type offense. We're building. We have a. Sounds going to sound bad. We have a Rutgers offense that we're trying to build, right? But we're recruiting these
Will be.
speedsters, but we're not using these speedsters. This is the not. This is something that Shad brought up a while ago. Like, what is the profile?
Well, but
But I
you
think I think we've got to understand that our downfall as a football team that I've noticed in the last 15 to 20 years is that when we go into a game where there's adverse weather conditions like rain and cold, our team from a speed standpoint was not up to par. So in order to have a football team that can play in all types of weather weather situations, you got to build your running game. You got to build that offense that okay, we can revert to that offense on a cold, blistery day because it looks like our guys' hands turn into ice when we play in the cold weather, and then when it's raining, we can't literally pass the football. So we have to have that game where
I mean, Shad, we are in
you know.
Miami. It rains majority of the time in Miami. So, I mean,
I
if
mean,
we can't
I mean, not
accept
not
rain,
during
what are the conditions we're going to play in if we can't play in the rain?
not during the fall season though. Cuban came during the fall. We don't see that very many rain delays and rain situations until we get out of the August and September portion where we have all the lightning going on. That's when we had the delays and things that happen. But when we get into the months where everything counts, November and December, when we have to play in the cold weather, when we have to go to like when we had the condition during the game with Rutgers, we it looked like our offense was just playing in a bunch of mud, and we just couldn't do it with our speed game, and we needed to have our running game going. We had the running game going, but our main horse got hurt, and after he got hurt, our game went south.
I mean, BC
So
was a cold game.
Yeah. Let me guys, King, I appreciate you being in the chat. I agree. We're not running an air raid. I'm not disagreeing with you. I don't think I don't I, but I also don't think we're running a quote unquote pro style offense. I don't think, because I think if we were, and I like that you brought up Michigan, because I think if we were running it, I think JJ McCarthy would be looked at as a better pro prospect. But most draft people are under the assertion that, or the under the assumption that he wasn't developed his entire time in Michigan, and they're not looking for the game manager. And I personally I like JJ McCarthy because I think he has a lot of physical tools, but he wasn't built upon. You're asking what is a pro style offense today? Um, Today is more run than pass. Um, to me, I think that's what it is, because we're not going. A lot of teams are not going on the center a lot. So when we look at pro style offense today, I think it has been altered in such a way. I think what you look at the Chiefs, I think you look at what the Bengals are doing. I think what you look at, like, maybe even what the Cowboys and things are doing like that, personnel packages. See, Galaxy, I'm not the personnel guy. I'm not. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not the personnel guy. So I can't. I can only explain it to you the way that I'm explaining it to you. Where you are more so looking to get the ball to the receivers and then in the tight ends, more so than maybe the old run game, because of just the way that the running back position has been devalued in a way. So that's when I think about pro style. That's what I think about, because I think college football has impacted the NFL in such a way that I think you got to kind of do away with some of these terms. To be honest with you,
So, Shad, can I ask you this though? I think this question is what needs to be asked, and I think you kind of touched on it. But can you run a offense like you said that's predicated on the slot receiver? I think that needs some refine. What do you think? I mean, do you think that you can have that type of what we're saying? Oh, he's 3 games better than, or 3 or 4 games better than last year. Do you think that he can uh, thrive in an offense predicated to Restrepo? Not because of Restrepo's, I mean, but do you
are you
think
asking?
that,
Are you asking if Cam can do that?
yes,
I think he can, because I think his primary target last year was Lincoln Victor, and I think Lincoln Victor was their slot receiver. So I think he can. Now, whether or not that particular offense can take us to where a lot of K fans want to go, I mean that's a completely different situation, in my opinion. But I'm not like everybody else. I think the offense is fine. You know, I just it to me it looked at just like a more polished version of what Josh Gas was trying to do the year before. In my opinion. So
wish I had one other one. Let me ask you this. But what made Tonga Valoa successful as opposed to TVD though? Because I'm pretty sure he came up there with that same offense, and he did have 68% completion.
but you know what? I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. I think what Josh Gaddis did at Maryland is what, and again, I don't take off for Josh Gaddis. I thought Josh Gaddis was bad, but I after a year you kind of get some time to kind of sit back and kind of reminisce and reflect and say, you know what, Josh Gaddis was just a bad fit. The offense that he was asked to run. Um,
Right.
what he did at Maryland, I think that was right in the wheelhouse of what they ran in Alabama. And I think maybe Josh Gaddis probably may have been a little bit more comfortable running that, right? I got into plenty of arguments with people when I said that Josh Gaddis is essentially running the offense that Michigan has been running since Jim Harbaugh took over. The numbers are the same, quarterback production is the same. The only difference was Urban Meyer had to leave after 2018, and people that are close to the Ohio State program stated that Ryan Day does not take the same approach to Ohio State that Urban Meyer did, and over a period of time they got soft, and Jim Harbaugh just made some hellified hires at the coordinator positions.
Mm.
So, but I mean that's my thought about it. South Coast, you got some trying to
Oh, I
keep everybody,
mean,
trying to keep everybody engaged.
oh, Studio One talked about if Ray Ray was in the slot, could have made a difference. And I wouldn't argue that. I just don't understand just my opinion, but if you take your offense, your passing game, and you put all this emphasis around just one slot receiver, you know, and you just concentrate on that, which I'm not saying they will, but I'm just saying if you concentrate on that slot receiver, well, hell, the defense will just take that out your game plan. But I guess on the flip side, like we've all said, if we can utilize the run game to open up the pass game, then yeah. And I think we talked about it way earlier because you're venturing into record-setting time tonight, Shad. I'm proud of you. Oh, but anyway, I don't know. It's we'll see. I hope so, but I just like to see other guys get a chance.
Me too.
I say that if the one negative about Cam, the one that I can think of is that when he did his roundabouts, he could only promise that college 1 year. If he had 2 years to promise a college, for instance, if he had 2 years to give to Ohio State, he would be at Ohio State now. It wouldn't be that they wouldn't want him, but if he was to dedicate 2 years to Ohio State, they probably would have taken him, and he would have went there. But Miami settled. Miami settled. I think Miami settled for the one
Are they
year process.
Uh,
To give
are they
him
getting 2 years with Will Howard?
or 2 years of Will Howard was not. He was not the sexy the
I get it.
sexy. How can I say it? He was
The
not the
sexy piece.
sexy piece that everybody wanted. You
Pause.
know, you see that sexy piece out there, man. You go, man. I want that, and you literally will go for it. And I think Will was there. I think Will Howard was a 9, but Cam posed a 10, and we selected the 10. That's what I think. And I think that if Cam could have promised Ohio State 2 years of football, Cam would probably be at Ohio State today. They would have taken him. That's what I think. And
But
I think that our offense is essentially this year. It is not something that we're going to see from for the rest of Mario's tenure. We're just going to see an offense that's going to fit Cam's scheme, which is to win and to showcase his talent in order to get him prepared and into the NFL. And that's where I think the pressure is going to be put on our coaches It's going to be put on the players. It's going to be put on Cam, and that's what we're going to see. That's what I think. I think we're going to see
But you don't think Poffenberger Barger is not a sexy piece shirtlessly dunking?
that.
I mean, the dude had like just some shorts on.
So,
How much more sexier can you get? At least Shad thinks so.
Shad
I get
Stradamus.
But my question: anyone here who has seen a full Washington State game live?
I haven't.
Me.
I haven't seen one yet.
Not tell you that lie.
Who was that? Rocky, you said you watched one?
Yes, two
Okay,
or three of them.
okay,
Let
break,
me
Yeah,
hear,
go
Rocky.
ahead. Go
What's your
ahead.
opinion?
Yeah.
break.
What's my opinion? Well, I want to kind of like whenever you came on, E. Brown, I kind of want to go backwards a little bit. Yeah, we're talking about running the offense through a slot receiver. Will that be successful or will that not be successful? The answer is yes. If you have a dynamic playmaking slot receiver playing for you in the game, but unfortunately, that's not what we have. We have a dependable go-to Mr. Everything wide receiver, but one of the things that Restrepo is missing is he's not a game changer. I said it in the chat. Restrepo misses that game breaking speed. That's what we're missing at that position. And that's what kind of drives me crazy about this whole thing. I'll answer the Cam Ward question first. Yeah, I watched 2 or 3 Washington State games, and like they pointed out in the chat, Cam Ward ran for his life most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time. I mean, the offensive line he had was horrible. The thing about Cam Ward is Cam Ward was the most was the most dynamic option in the portal, which is something we were missing last year with TVD back there. Look, I don't know what happened to Tyler Van Dyke during the bye week. No, I don't think anybody knows. I personally think the man got hurt, but that's just my opinion. Y'all could be right, and he just could have lost his confidence. That'll be a debate for forever. But the thing with the offense is this: Mario this year in year 3 has got to, and you can say it one way, the other way, or the other way. Let Dawson cook. Let the young players, the talented players that they have on the sideline. Mario is so stubborn. In his day or in his mind, young players shouldn't play. He's got to change that philosophy. He's got to let these young players get some burn, in my opinion. Because if I see coming out on offense where we have Horton, Restrepo, and George constantly, without some kind of mix in of Ray, of Nye, of without some kind of JoJo, thank you. Without some kind of mixture of that, and the offense everybody asking what kind of offense we had. The best way I can describe the offense from last year is we came straight ahead. Not air raid, not pro style. We came straight ahead of what we did. It was last year, and nobody's really been able to figure it out. Now, like I pointed out in the chat, the word is on the street is that they're tweaking this thing more pro style, and that Cam Ward agreed to that. That comes from another stream from somebody else on the inside. Y'all probably all know it, but that's what he talks about all the time. Now, if that's the truth, to me, that's just Mario saying, we're going to run behind our offensive line. We're going to play pro style, and we're going to play action. And look to you, I don't know who said it on here, but to somebody's point, we're going to put less emphasis on Cam's ability to make bad decisions. Or we're going to take that out. Yeah, we're going to take that out of the out of the equation. But by doing that, I mean, in my opinion, you're going more into a shell. And I don't know if I necessarily like that either, but look, we got an old offensive lineman as our head coach. I've said it on plenty of streams. If Mario could, Mario would carry 50 running backs. He can't do that, but if he could, he would.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I don't know. It's frustrating, but on the other hand, when you're recruiting the kind of talent that Mario is, I mean, how can you criticize the talent upgrade from a standpoint of what we're bringing in? It's just a
Rocky,
matter of, it's like, go ahead.
Rocky, let me ask you this question, right? Now,
I got a question afterwards.
So do I.
Rocky, do you feel Cam Ward can give us what Tyler Van Dyke gave us in the past game? Do you think he's as talented of a passer as Van Dyke?
Well, I don't think Tyler Van Dyke gave us too much last year because he was throwing the ball to the other team too many times.
Rocky,
Rocky,
listen, we mature now. We know what happened. Let's go back to funner times. Let's go back to Texas A&M game. Let's go back there. Even we go back to Boston College. Let's go back to Boston College. Is Cam Ward that good of a passer from what you saw?
Yes, in my opinion.
As good.
I think Cam Ward coming into this team. If you allow Cam Ward to be Cam Ward, I think Cam Ward can have a great season. Look, my conspiracy theory worry, even from last year, is that Mario's got his hands all over this offense. That's my worry. I don't know if he does or he doesn't, but I mean, you guys saw it. I mean, we go from Texas A&M to what we did later on in the year. I mean, it just made no sense. Some more
questions.
It made no sense.
Yeah, but Cuban, what was your question? You can finish that, Rocky, but yeah, you finish.
Well,
no,
Rocky, the real offensive coordinator is his homeboy. That's the homeboy's a real offensive coordinator. I'm just gonna say what I think it is. But Rocky, you said that there's a talent upgrade. Where is the talent upgrade at?
From Tyler Van Dyke?
No, you said, I think you were speaking in general. There was a talent upgrade.
Yeah.
And I just want to know
the talent upgrade from Cam Ward to Tyler Van Dyke is Cam Ward is a more dynamic player. I mean, he can make things happen in the pocket. I mean, he's got better pocket presence, in my opinion, than Tyler did. He can move around in the pocket. I mean, he can make runs when he needs to. I think Cam Ward is a major upgrade from Tyler, in my opinion.
Is he a major upgrade than JB?
Yes.
No.
Absolutely.
Well, look, here's my thing. Here's my thing with that. And I'll go back to the last comment. Look, y'all gotta understand the kind of coach we got. I said this again. For whatever reason, why do we go out and give Cam Ward in the first place if we got JB sitting there? Because Mario Cristobal believes in older players playing. It's going to be so interesting to see where these 8 cuts come from in the spring. We're sitting at 92 or 93, something like that on our roster numbers. It's going to be interesting to see how that all shakes out in the spring.
Okay.
And who they bring in.
Jimmy, what you think?
I got a question. You said let Dawson cook. Okay. So in your opinion, you think Dawson is a pretty good to an elite OC?
Oh,
I think I like what I saw in the Texas A&M game versus what I saw after the bye week.
So that one game proves that he's elite or a good OC.
I think he had a good game in the Texas A&M game. I think there were a lot of things that happened in the Texas A&M game. I think he's been here one freaking year. You guys got to let him have more than 1 year. Come on, man.
The Texas A&M game.
Texas
A&M game is not the only game. There were maybe 2 bad games last year from the OC standpoint. That was the game up in where we scored on the 6 points. I forget what game.
That was North Carolina State. North Carolina State was the biggest debacle of them all.
That was the
game I don't understand.
That was one of the games. Go ahead.
I go back and rewatch that game now, guys, and I still can't fathom that game. That's the one that I just don't get.
And that was
because there were opportunities.
So, Rocky, So in Dawson's 20 plus years before Miami, was he elite?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't gone back and watched Houston and West Virginia. I mean, I know he came from the air raid system.
Okay, because this is the thing I'm having trouble. It's like now Dawson's elite, but 20 years prior, we can't say he was elite.
20 years ago,
No,
20,
no,
20
I'm
years
not
ago. I mean,
20 years
20
ago.
years ago. I mean,
No, I mean 20 plus years prior, because no one really heard of Dawson. Then all of a sudden he gets to Miami, and then one Texas A&M game, it's like, oh, he's great. I'm trying to see
Look,
what was prior that proved that he was a great OC.
here's what I'll tell you. Here's what I'll tell you.
Body of work.
Here's the way I'll answer that. Okay. You're right. Okay. I don't know if he was elite before that. All I can tell you is this. I know what I saw in the Texas A&M game, and I saw it deteriorate as the games went by, at least in my opinion. Okay. In my opinion. Now, I don't know about Dawson, but I can tell you about Mario. And when you go back and you watch Mario's Oregon games, okay, and what he did at Oregon, the Oregon fans were complaining about the same thing on the offensive side of the ball that we're complaining about now. Okay. And if that in fact is the case, then we got a problem.
So
okay. I mean, what did Josh Gaddis do at Maryland this season?
Hold on now. That's the trick, Rocky. That's the trick. Who is the OC at Maryland? I mean, who's calling the plays at Maryland?
I presume Josh Gaddis, unless somebody else is that I don't know about.
Who's the head? Okay, who calls the plays at Ole Miss?
Lane Kiffin.
Ole Miss has an OC, but you're saying Lane Kiffin is calling the plays? Tim Harris, the OC at UCF, is he going to call the plays?
I would assume so.
No.
Malzahn
said he calling the plays.
Good, so they're going back to
Miraball's calling the plays.
I disagree. I disagree with you guys that our offense digressed from the Texas A&M game. I don't think the offense there was an issue with the offense. I think the issue happened with our quarterback.
No, that's true.
Our quarterback was the issue from the standpoint after that break in the season until the Boston College game when we saw a resurgence or a revival, so to speak, of TVD. I think our offense was performing up to par in the Clemson game. They performed up to par in the Florida State game. They performed up to par. They performed up to par in some of the other games. Like I said, the one game where I saw total failure was that game where we scored 6.
North Carolina State.
Let me answer.
I wanted to answer.
One second. Let me get right quick. We all know what happened to TVD. We all were 20 years old at one point in time. When we lost that little tail, we all get depressed.
Yes.
The girlfriend broke his heart, right? The girlfriend broke his heart and he wasn't able to recover. We all were 20 years old. We all had that broken heart at 20 and we potted around like sad little puppies and he couldn't help us. We all know what happened to TVD.
I didn't know a woman was involved. A woman was involved.
That was the rumor.
Well, it's not the rumor. That happens to any 20. Happened to me. The girl broke my heart. I was moping and crying for a whole semester, right? I don't know any rumors. I just know how a man looks like at 20-year-old when he get his heart broken.
Yeah. Well, I did want to answer QB's question. Dawson, well, I believed, or it was because you could look this up. Wasn't Dawson brought in because Houston had a top 10 offense?
And who was Houston's head coach?
I have absolutely no clue.
Dana Holgerson.
See, this is why I bring it up, and I think Shad knows why. We're looking at numbers instead of context. It's like, whoa, look at Dawson. He was at Houston and he did this. but we don't know who's running the offense. But then we're also we're throwing a lot of things out there. First is TBD, Mario's holding us back, Dawson this. I think there's a combination of all these
All
things.
of it, yeah, absolutely.
But it's like we're looking for one thing. Like if we just fix TBD, we'll get rid of TBD and bring Cam Ward. That's gonna fix this. And I don't think that's the case. Because here's the thing. If Rocky feels that Mario is holding back the offense or meddling with it, doesn't that hurt the QB? And you also say that kind of hurt TVD.
We'll find out.
You know, I know we all go back to the A&M game, you know, I know Rocky, you brought that up, and obviously most people bring that game up. I think when you look at it and you put more context to it, when you look at our schedule, it was only 3 teams on our schedule that I felt like probably felt comfortable playing us man-to-man coverage. That was A&M, Florida State, and Clemson, because they have those. Everybody else played a zone. So I always go back to Florida State 2013, where the first half, we go into halftime down 14-21. We were getting the ball back. We had made some monster plays. Allen Hurns scored a touchdown, I believe. Rashawn Scott caught a crazy pass. No, maybe that was the next year when Jalen Ramsey was there. But in any regard, and we come back in the
It was
second half.
Allen Hurns, that
Yeah,
2013,
yeah,
when Stephen Morris threw it to him on the side.
yeah. But we scored another one too, and I thought that was Rashawn Scott caught it over Jalen Ramsey. He ran a deep one in too.
That was 2015. But go ahead.
Okay. So in any regard, we come back in the second half. We can do nothing. So after the game, they go up to James Coley, ask him, "Hey, coach, what happened?" And he said, "We practiced for man to man all week. In the second half, they ran zone. We didn't have any answers." So I look at it. I kind of look at it like this. I mean, Rocky, I'm with you. I think TVD was hurt. I think maybe the staff was trying to preserve Emery's red shirt as long as they could. Um, I don't know what they felt about, JB. I mean, truthfully and honestly, I think really the problem really started, in my opinion, when they didn't get a replacement quarterback when Jake Garcia left.
They should have. I agree with you 100%. They should have brought somebody else in at the beginning of the year before this all started.
Yeah.
Especially after what came out in the JB podcast about him going and wanting a red shirt and them agreeing to it.
Right.
I mean, that's a no-brainer. Bring in, you got a true freshman there. Emory had no business starting at Clemson in that dope.
Yeah. And then
I mean,
you lose, and then we
big
lost
mistake.
Rashad. Yeah. But like I said, we can get close to closing it out. Like I said, I'm glad all y'all guys hopped on. Some very good conversations. QB Rocky, since y'all just got here, I want to ask y'all the first question that started it off. Do y'all feel Cam Kitchens is the best safety we've had this past decade?
I'm leaning towards Jaquan Johnson.
Okay.
Yeah, Jaquan.
Okay. Because it was another point that I forgot to mention. Cam Kitchens has the ability to be the highest drafted safety since Kenny Phillips got drafted in the first round. If he just gets drafted in the second round, so it'd be a great selling point. So that's that. E Brown, I know you know. I forgot to ask you. Do you feel Cam Kitchens is the best safety this past decade?
I don't think he's the best on the field safety we've had. I agree with the Johnson nomination. Cam, and I'm gonna call it like it is. Cam made too many damn mistakes to be the best.
Yes, sir.
He made too many mistakes.
Okay.
Okay. Jaquan Johnson, when he played, you rarely saw the type of mistake that Cam committed by Johnson.
And Johnson was a eraser.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we'll get our closing comments. I know South Coast is doing a show tomorrow, so let's make sure we go over there and support that. So we'll start at the top. I'll go last. Cuban, South Coast QB, Cool, E Brown, and Rocky will go in that order, and I'll go last.
Stop the narratives. Just look at what you see on the football field and let your eyes tell you what you see and stop listening to these people in the streets. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I say they don't believe the hype. Use your discernment filter. Uh, but it was good. It was good talking with E Brown and talking with Cool and QB and Rocky, my man from a little further south down the road, and my man Cuban. Cuban, you brought it tonight, buddy. You brought it tonight.
Right
But
there.
uh but Shad, thank you for the plug for my show tomorrow night. It'll just be an open night, open mic Saturday night, whatever. However, we're just gonna chop it up. But y'all don't forget, I'm gonna reciprocate. I'm gonna pass it forward. Shad will be with Truck and Chub Z. I don't know if any of you folks have watched any of Chub Z's work. I like it's not it's just kind of sports in general. He's more of a Steelers fan. He kind of tends to go towards Colorado a little bit, but he is a sports general talk show. And Shad usually joins him on Saturdays at 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern, and it's like peaches and herb, bruh. It's like peaches and herb when they get in there. If you know, you know. I think Cuban might know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know, reunite. Anyway, so y'all go check him out. And yeah, this was fun. This was fun. It was great. It was great. Very,
Yeah,
very
just to
educational.
piggyback on what John said, I appreciate everybody here for having a big board, having a good conversation versus the name
Absolutely.
calling and all that stuff. So I respect everybody in here for being an adult, not little kids or little b words.
You're just a hater. I'm leaving.
All right, QB, what you got?
My last response is, do we have three OCs?
We ain't had three LCs since Mark Rick was here.
Mhm.
Just might. Just might. Cool from the crib, aka Chi Town.
Oh no, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Because that dog E Brown, who don't know anybody's voice, but I appreciate Shastradamus for having this platform for us to come here and vent our frustrations and our epiphanies. But for the most part, I would say I think this is still an exciting spring. Um, However, yes, do not buy into the hype. There is a lot more, like South Coast Kane said, there's a lot more opportunity for proof and to show and to tell, as opposed to things looking good on paper, which we've had the last couple of years of things looking good on paper, but not necessarily panning out on the field. So it's still a show me year, and I'm out.
Okay. E Brown.
Hey, listen, I just want to piggyback off of what you guys said. Hey, Cuban Kane, from this point forward, I'm not calling you Cuban Kane anymore. You're going to be KC. You're KC to me from this point forward, okay? I'm
That's
calling
cool.
KC. And South Coast, I will be on your program tomorrow night listening, my man. I'll be on your program tomorrow night listening.
Now
And
I will.
QB, but go ahead, South Coast. I'm
No,
sorry.
I was just gonna say I'm not as nice as Shad. I'm a little crazier. I'm just joking. Yeah, we.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah,
look,
one more thing, just one more thing. There was a late night show with Coach Hayes, and I missed it. And I'm so mad that I missed it. We cannot talk about it here, but
No,
Shad,
we
you
can't.
and E Brown were that topic was that went 8 hours long. That bleep was amazing. I missed it, and I wish I would have joined that show.
was that the show that had the North American Trucking Chronicles
Yeah,
and the what was the
yeah.
neighborhoods
We can't.
and
We can't.
the census?
We can't. We can't. We can't.
Can't do that.
Yeah,
That show right
you know,
there,
I
how
wish
they
I
be
would have
me.
been. I mean, seriously, I thought it was great. I
That
loved
was
it.
an amazing show.
It was. It
That,
really was. It
that
really
show
was.
Too
cannot,
short.
it can't be
Yeah.
brought back up anymore.
Yeah, man, and you know, and then listen to QB. I feel like I'm laying on the couch in my psychiatrist's office because the way he be talking stuff. He talk like I'm on the couch in a blue room. The way he talk and stuff, man. So
Q,
QB,
QB, what you
appreciate it.
charge?
You know,
Oh, so you want to get on the couch with
QB.
QB?
Uh-oh.
No. That's not mistake. That's not mistake. What I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's not meant
Rocky.
to be
Hey,
habitual.
listen, and and it's always good to talk to Shot Town. Always good to talk to
Yeah.
Shot Town. And I mean, cool. I'm sorry, cool.
See, here
It's
we
always
go
good to
now.
talk to
Randy
cool.
Brown. I know you ain't rub your big gay on your knees, but come on, man.
And then
I love
and then and hey, and then Rocky, you know, Rocky always come chime in with the comments. And now today we got an opportunity to hear him actually speak and say some things. But I appreciate you guys. Appreciate the time. Shad, good show, man. Good show.
Good. Rocky, what you got?
Appreciate everybody here. Thank you for the kind comment, E Brown, Shad, South Coast Kane. Love you guys, man. Love all you guys that are on here on YouTube, giving us the opportunity to do this. Come on and voice our opinions about the Canes that we all love. Thank y'all very much. I'll never tell Coach Hayes, but this is a hell of a lot better than that damn plane crashing. It messes me up every time, but I'll never tell him that. But
it.
thank y'all. Thank y'all for Shad, you got something on me now. Thank y'all very much. And to QB, we shall see whether or not we have 3 OCs. We shall see. Gonna be fascinating to watch. But thank all you guys. Appreciate it. South Coast, happy Mardi Gras.
Ellen gonna
Next
cook you.
next
Forget about
next
it.
Ellen,
next Tuesday, baby. Next Tuesday.
Yes,
QB,
sir.
Ellen's gonna cook you. Good luck. If Ellen's listening,
Ooh,
that's your butt.
Man, look, LNV, I can
Mhm.
handle LNV.
That's the
all
hardest working
right.
lady in the business.
Yeah. But yeah,
I can't handle Oracle. I can handle LNV. I can't handle Oracle. I don't think anybody can
I don't
handle
think
Oracle.
nobody can handle war.
I
yeah,
like them feisty.
yeah. But yeah, like South Coast said, yeah, me and Truck and Chubbies, we're gonna be doing a show tomorrow, just general talk, probably about an hour and a half or something, 5:30 Central Standard Time. Just some general topics going on. Kind of get away from a little cane stuff. I know some people, they got to get their cane fixed every day, but I've had enough for this week, so kind of see what it is. And like Workforce said, yeah, we just got a commitment from a big time in size offensive lineman. I think he was 6'7", 280 or something like that. So Coach Cristobal doing what he does. So we'll see. I think, and to be honest, I know some people say things are kind of slow right now, but we didn't even get to the last topic, which was, how the guys performed at the All-Star games and, did they make themselves some money? So maybe we can talk about that when we commence again. But with that being said, man, I appreciate each and every one of you that are on here. Glad that you decided to come on and hang out with us or whatever. Been on here 2 hours and 47 minutes. But with that being said, man, to everyone in the comment section, like, share, subscribe, comment. And as always, it's all about the you.
Go Canes.
I'm out.
Y'all have a good evening.
That's really too.